Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition, to another installment of Hashtag Fade to Black. It is that time. It is Cash App Fridays. I am your host, Donnell Lamonte Morris, here with my dog, my brah, Beast Johnson. How you doing, Beast?
I'm doing good, Pimpin'. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So let's go ahead and tell you the roundabouts about the show, what we're going to be doing today. So my boy Rod, if y'all remember him from the last month when he did the real estate show, he's going to be coming in a little bit later. Like they say, money never sleeps. So he's handling some business before he comes on the show to explain more about real estate, mainly on loans. But we also going to talk about not developing story, but actually a hot topic that's been going on right now. It is the Asian crime rate that's been going on, and what as Black folks, what should we do about it? Should we, what should we do? What is our reaction? How we feel about what's been going on? But first, we got to start off with our opening sponsor. Beast, could you please introduce people to that great sponsor called Sky Zone Society?
Oh, yeah. She's talking about the surveyors and sultans of the swag and the deans of the dramatic drip. The only spot where you can get candles, accessories, clothing, visuals, and the pictures to prove it. You talking about Sky Zone Society? That's who you talking about?
Oh, that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh, well, for those who aren't aware and are abreast of the situation, allow me to repeat myself. Sky Zone Society is a one-stop location for all your visual, photographical, as well as scented apparel needs. Meaning it's the one place where you can get the pictures, smell goods, and the video of you getting the smell goods and doing whatever you want with them. You can only get that type of love and true customer care and service from Sky Zone Society. So if you're looking for it, holler at Sky Zone Society. If they ain't got it, then commission them for it. Either way, you'll be pleasantly surprised when you shop at Sky Zone Society.
And with that, we're going into our opening statements. And Beast, you are up.
As I sit here and eat on my Kool-Aid slushy, blast from the past, I have to make a question to the parents and the pet owners out there. Who annoys you worse when it comes to wanting to eat your food in peace? Because clearly, we all know children, especially the young ones, I want what mama got. And apparently, pets are the same. If you can see what I see right now, you see some pitiful looking eyes with that, please, sir, may I have some more? Which just annoys me to no end. I just want to enjoy my slush in peace. Takes about 3 hours to make, about 30 minutes to kill. But nonetheless, I just wanted to ask that question and be random because it is Friday. And there's nothing wrong with being random and expressing those random thoughts that seem to plague everyone's mind from time to time. You'd be surprised how much sensibility and patterns run in randomness. Makes no sense, but hey, that's the point of being random. That's my opening thought. I'm gonna finish on this slush before we get to this show and get the rest of my dogs so get it by my face. Enjoy.
I wish I had slushy too. My opening statement is this: with us getting into this topic on what's going on with the Asian community and what, as Black folks, what we should do. Honestly, we've been doing it. People have been using this term "caping." I don't believe Black people be caping for just anybody. I don't believe the word caping. I think caping is a very loose term that should not be used in this case. For anybody out there who looks like me, who believes, oh, this is their problem. This is their, it's on the Asian side. Let's let them deal with it. You pretend that we don't get that same treatment too. You don't think over 400 years, even though we're not in chains and shackles, that there are days where we do feel like we're in chains and shackles, and that we do have Asian alliances as well, that we fail to forget that are there. Now, a lot of y'all will have the legitimate come back and say, well, we got a lot of cultures that we allied with, but they always piggyback off us to get what they want, which is a true statement. But I'll throw this back at you. When you have an ally, you have to give them the ground rules of what not to do, what you should do. These are your lanes. This is how you can help us. That's our problem. Because when we help them out in their situation, we ask, what can we do to help y'all? And they always give us, this is what I need you to do, this is what I need you to put out, and all that stuff. They give us guidelines. They tell us what our lanes are to help with their cause. That's our biggest issue. This is why when we have groups that does piggyback off us, we don't give them the ground rules. But that shouldn't stop us from helping them out. We just can't sit there and just ignore what is happening to them won't happen to us. Well, I'm just going to mind my business. If it's not happening to my mama, happening to my best friend, my side chick, or whatever, I could care less. But do you be the same as that person to have it happen to you? And now all of a sudden it's fuck the world. So I know we're going to talk much more about this issue, but I just want to start off with this. If you ignore that this is happening because it's not happening to you, then you are part of the problem. We should not make every person's about our battles. I'm not saying that at all. Hello for everybody who's tuning in. Hello. I'm not saying we should ignore what's happening to the Asian community, because when they hurt, I hurt. When my fellow white brothers and sisters getting hurt, I hurt. This is a round circle that happens around. I'm not sitting there saying this all lives matter, nothing like that. I'm not saying that. Just don't think, just because you don't know that person, or if you do know that person and that's just happening to them, don't never think that it will never happen to you. Do unto others as is done unto you. But we're going to get more in that when we come back. And ladies and gentlemen, this show is definitely going to get into it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Beach, forgive me if you see me just working on my computers because I'm trying to go live on Instagram with us. But so let's talk about, what's going on in the Asian community. What is your thoughts on what you're seeing or what you're hearing and what you're reading in the news about what is going on with the Asian crime rate, hate rate? Hold on. Wind that back, Morris. The amount of crime against the Asians. What is your take?
First off, I'm proud of for actually doing what the fuck they're supposed to, as far as getting that awareness and coming together, regardless of who the fuck you are and where you come from. They understood that, and on every facet and level, they decided to do what they need to do. Awareness watches, being in groups, arming themselves. They're doing everything that black folk was supposed to be doing, and we just did it small measures. They notice how ain't nobody really protesting about this. They're not trying to bring awareness to it. They're bringing awareness to it by doing some active, logical shit, arming yourself, making it aware to your fellow community members, as well as not just of your race, but of all races in your community, making them known and abreast of what's going on, doing your due diligence to defend yourself by any means, and educate yourself and aware yourself and aware others on it. That's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, and
but that Christian, I'll go ahead and just say flat out, that bullshit Christian religion is the main reason why. Because no matter how westernized any other culture is, they still hold on to their religious beliefs and their traditional teachings. It got them to this point. If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
And they understand that. So when they deal with atrocities and issues like this, that it's already ingrained in them what to do. Like they already in their system to know we need to get together.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I was saying. So when we have other groups and see, we get blinders. Mm-hmm. Definitely when it comes to slavery and how slavery ended, we forget that yes, there was white people that actually helped us out. Should we give them all the credit? No, hell no. There's a shared appreciation on how we gotten to this point. With the Civil Rights Bill, think of how many black representatives that was in Congress. Not even a handful. Well, I would say a handful, but I can count how many on my fingers, and I'm gonna do my research, due diligence. If I'm wrong, but I guarantee you, it was not meant. There weren't many black politicians in Congress during the time to vote on the Civil Rights Bill. But we put on our blinders and forget that there were white people, and there are still white people that go hard for us.
Go harder. Go harder.
Right. And we don't give them the credit and props. Because like I had this start this morning too. I had this start this morning where, when I was thinking about all the groups that piggybacked off our movements, I thought about it. I thought about it. It's like we need allies so our struggles or what we're talking about go mainstream.
Well, let's be real on that fact first. When it comes to the Asians, then we have to be with their wording of allies and piggybackers. Historically speaking, the Asian has always been an ally to the African. Across every span of Asia, they have all understood and acknowledged their connection to us and their connection to us in regards to the world. And they've always been an ally. You talk about the civil rights movement. How did the civil rights movement really get this way it got? Because niggas like Huey Newton said, I'm going to go down, got on their Frank Lucas, I'm going to go down there to the Viet Cong. I'm going to go deep in the jungle deep.
Right.
Where the lion step on the monkey feet. And I'm going to talk to the main dudes. I'm going to talk to the head man in charge. Hey, what's your name, Ping Quan? I want to talk to the baddest, craziest motherfucker that's running this shit. It's Ping Quan. Hey, Ping Quan, let me rap with you real quick. Hey, anybody that has read the books, he has documented correspondence and responses from the heads of the Viet Cong armies. The main reason A twofold part of the Vietnam War was not America going over there on some bullshit. It was that, but then there was the other part of when they realized these niggas got some allies, so we got to shut them down quick.
Yeah,
they got the Asians on their side, and it's way when Asians and Muslims, you're not going to beat them. They got the numbers. So when it comes to starting some shit, or you feel like some shit might jump off between them two, you notice how they always jump up quick or they fall back. Because it's just the number game is just too much. If you play it the wrong way, you got over 1 billion motherfuckers on your ass.
Hey, what did Eddie Griffith say? He's like, when America was trying to buck up to China, there was like China's like one soldier is Bruce Lee. It's Bruce Lee, and they got over 1 billion.
They got over 1 billion. Let's keep it real. They got 1 billion on tap. Like at any given moment, they got 1 billion of them just ready to go. We're not even counting all the sleeper cells they got across the world. Right.
It's like that's 1 billion Bruce Lee's. Like, come on now.
Y'all seen the movies? Y'all think they just back there making move who got paying? No, baby. The same way he be flipping that damn what? The same way he be flipping them nunchucks up beside your back of your head.
Right. So my question is this to you. What do you say? Because I'm mainly seeing it on the black conscious side, where they're saying, well, this is not our problem. This is not our issue. Oh, hey.
How you gonna be conscious? That just shows me you stupid. It just shows me you stupid, you're dumb, and you are so far from being an educated individual, let alone an enlightened individual, that it disrespects my integrity and intelligence to even acknowledge your existence.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, because it bothers me. It bothers me where, us black folks, like I always got to bring it back to us. Us black folks, we forgive way too much. I made that distinction on the last year.
Jesus shit.
Yeah, we always forgive. And then you got the other part of the black community that's like, man, fuck that forgiveness shit, which I'm all for it. I'm like, fuck forgiveness. I'm like, if you're gonna shoot at me, guess what?
I was born in that community. Right. I am the baby in that community. I don't need no mask.
I'm like this. If you shoot at me, guess what? I'm shooting 3 back at you. I'm not.
You better make sure you hit me.
Yeah, and sure when you hit me that I'm not breathing. And so then we come to this.
That's all I got to say.
Right. And then we come to this where we all got different types of friends here. If you don't use them as a political pawn, if you know what I mean. I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm, the famous, I'm not racist, I got 10 black friends. Look, I'm not racist, I got 10 Puerto Rican friends. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that you grew up with, or served with. People that you invited.
People you are bonded with through sin and tragedy.
Right. And if you see any of them, and vice versa, in trouble, going through it, are you going to sit there and let them struggle? Or are you going to do something? And that's what I see in this case of the Asian Americans. I see that. I should not make their situation about me. When they're down, I should not be like, what about me? Look at me. I got the same issue. I got the same problem. But man, don't that sound familiar? But still, what about me? What about my life? I'm going through it while this person is down, basically almost down and out for the count, where you should be putting your insecurities aside and helping them out. I mean, it hurt my heart to see one of the videos where that one old Asian lady who just randomly just got attacked, even though they didn't show the attack, but she was attacked, and by the good graces of the God within her, she fought back. And that guy regretted it real quick, because if you saw that video, he was on a stretcher and he just looked just as worse as the damage he did to her. She came back and whipped that ass, but it still hurt me just to, see her covering up her face and she's just speaking in her native language and she's just crying. I mean, it just made me want to go over there just if I was there to just give her a hug. And I know a lot of the black customers, man, you sound coolness. Oh, come on, man, get the fuck out of here with that.
That's a woman.
Yeah.
I gotta get on my SQ. That's a female, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's somebody.
Debo.
Right. See,
somebody's mama, somebody's sister.
And since you're gonna take that Ice Cube's place on that one, I'm gonna take Teacher's spot on this one. That's somebody's mom. Yep. That's somebody's wife. That's somebody's auntie. That's somebody's godmother. That could be somebody's mentor.
Somebody's female empowerment. Like whatever mentor, she is, somebody, she could actually be that motherly maternal figure in somebody's life. She may not be your biological mama, but she treats you like she is. And you love her for it. We all got them people.
And just to read that story of her fighting back. And then not to mention, this is Women's Month, International Women's Month. Shout out to all the ladies out there. For her to come back and beat this dude's ass, I don't know what was in his damn mind to do something like that. What did he think?
Misogynistic, overly misogynistic and ignorant thinking. Small woman, petite frame, older, therefore reflexes and muscle dexterity not top notch. Even if she was working out, it should be easy. It's that whole candy from a baby type deal. This shit should be the most that should happen should be one good tug and I walk away hearing crying. That's how easy it should be.
I mean, it's sad to me that we are in a generation, not even a generation, we're in a time where you see police getting away with murder. You see white supremacy on display, and we just treat it like a common cold. Like, hey, here's some Tylenol to ease the pain. But then when it's us, definitely black folks, when it's us, we are the most law-abiding citizens of all the land. I'm gonna say, I want somebody to challenge me. Black people, Asians, Puerto Ricans, definitely the ones that were immigrants that comes in to get their citizenships are the most law-abiding citizens in the whole country.
Dirtiest people are the most law-abiding. That's how they don't get caught.
And I compare them to all those Midwest people that they always want to talk about on the mainstream. I put them against any one of them. And they can have as many American flags as they want to. But we and everybody else are the most law-abiding citizens of this country. But we're the ones that always get the most abuse in this country. How in the world is the most, I won't use the word obedient, but I'm going to have to say it. How in the world is the most obedient kid always the one getting in trouble? I've seen this in society almost every day, including in the workspace, where you got that one person that does everything right, that does come to work on time, sometimes work through lunch, sometimes work overtime, sometimes they work overtime. And then that one mistake, and the whole business just make an example out of him or her. Like they're a piece of shit just because they made this one mistake, but not looking at the track record. Like this was actually a hard worker. She came to work on time. They never caused a fuss with nobody. Worked with everybody, even though they didn't even like the person. Worked hard, even did that extra mile of staying at the job, staying at their office, missing their kids' freaking birthday parties, missing their wife, their wife's parcheesi night or whatever. Put their personal life aside to be one with the team, to be a team player. to be the MVP, but you awarded this asshole who don't even do shit. But this one mistake, you label them as you ain't shit. But this person could have been the one to save your business, to make your business profitable, could have brought your business to be in public, and now you're making all this money. And this person, all he asks is for a raise. Probably didn't even ask for a raise. Probably deserve a raise. Probably due for a raise, but never came up to you and complained or even asked about it. But make this one mistake. That's why I see with us, definitely black people, we can be following the law. One traffic stop can either turn us into a criminal, one, or two, get us killed. Now we are mural. Now we are hashtag. Now we are freaking protest. Now we got this with the Asian hate train. Let's call it what it is. Hate train coming through. And people pretending that it's not happening. This, ladies and gentlemen, this has been happening. It's been happening.
Look at any Hitman movie or martial arts movie. They may not have been Americans, but they were show white.
But and here's another thing too. It's been happening alongside us. Our own people getting killed. And that's why I'm talking about the blinders. And I'm not only just blaming for my people. Also, I blame on y'all, blaming on the Asian community too. Y'all been having blinders on too.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all been pointing the finger, sitting there saying, look, y'all think it's gonna happen to us. Y'all, it's happening to us too. It's happening to us. First of all, it should be more of like, damn, it's happening to you. We need to come together. Let's work on something. Let's work on what's your solutions and what's our solution, and let's break it down to see that both our parties benefit. That's what should be happening. It shouldn't be if it's not happening to my tribe, I ain't worried about you. It should not even be that. We need to get out this tribal bullshit. We need to stop. You saw what happened definitely in the African countries when they were splitting the tribes. Slavery happened. Because people want to sit there and go on this notion of slavery was done because the tribe was actually selling the slaves off to the white man that came in. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. Majority of those white men that came in, the Dutch and the Europeans, let me broaden it. The Europeans coming in, they also overran those tribes by force. Mm-hmm. You think all of Africa was just giving their people away? Like, here you go. No. Majority of the time, they just came in and just took what they had.
You know why niggas like Hennessy so much down there?
Why's that?
Why it seems almost encoded within our DNA?
I gotta hear this. I don't know why.
Because apparently the Hennessy factory was manufactured and mass produced in Africa. The white man went down there, got him some slaves, built him up a goddamn distillery, and started slanging out liquor. So it would only behoove us to assume with decent intelligence that, not to sound racist, but it makes perfect sense why niggas like Hennessy. We've been making it for hundreds of years.
Like Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels, ladies and gentlemen, history fact.
Made by a nigga.
Mm-hmm. But I give Jack Daniels credit. The reason why I give Jack Daniels credit is because they're now giving money back to the lineage of that slave. They're actually, this is their form of reparations.
I give you respect for that. Not only because you could have just like tried to brush it up under the rug and just leave it to like internet conjecture and myth. Mm-hmm. Something that just you share on your timeline a couple times a year.
Nope.
But they pulled the Forrest Gump. You gotta respect that. They didn't have to do that. And when I say they pulled the Forrest Gump, if y'all actually remember the movie, when Bubba died, he named the company after with him because that was their dream. He had no legal obligations to give his family a goddamn cent. The man wasn't alive when he made it, but he did it nonetheless and made sure that not only the immediate family, but generations after received revenue off of that company, that their ancestor was the predecessor. He didn't get to see his dream come to fruition, but that was his dream nonetheless. And he respected that man enough to make sure he got his just due. So for Jack Daniels, I respect what they did as well. That's what needed to happen.
Yeah, and that's exactly what needs to happen when, everybody sit there, not try to go off the subject of what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm on, and see, this is why I wish Mayo was here. He probably would agree. He would have added on to it. He probably would have been like, everything's about.
I gotta take both sides.
Yeah, I know. He said
hey,
he was saying
everybody.
Let's
keep it real. ELE. Everybody love everybody. If you ain't got a Jackie Moon in your corner, you ain't living life. You need somebody who just says, "Fuck the bullshit. I will punch you in the back of the knee." Everybody love everybody.
Yeah. Is there a time for us to to get rough and be like, get tough? Yeah. But in this time right now, the Asian community needs us. Not only just us.
It's time for us to historically pay it forward as the Black community, because we have a racial cultural issue amongst a subset of society that is publicly known across the nation, i.e. civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. During that time, you had publicly known, publicly professed allegiance and support from the Asian community and the Asian nation. It is only right if, especially all you woke motherfuckers, talking about your history. All you solid BM more fake ass Moors out there, it historically behooves us to get in line and show that solidarity and show that we see, historically speaking, there are pictures of Asians saying, with protest signs saying, yellow is with you, yellow pride with the brown pride. We here just like you got the Mexicans and the Native Americans that's with us, and we ain't saying shit because they know. Asians know too. A lot of them have forgot because they've been westernized over the years. But that's where we, as the Blacks, got to step in.
Right.
Now I use the example with the Korean store owner that I ran across. Me and him are actually good friends now. Like, he know my face. We speak every time I come in there because he knows. This dude. Not sound racist. He said, he's not like other niggas. Because I know enough of Asian culture and Asian dialect to tell the difference between the nations. So I could tell the difference between Mandarin and Korean and Taiwanese and Japanese. I can tell the difference just in conversation. I can hear it. I may not be able to decipher all of it, but I know it's different enough for me to ask.
Right.
And say, hey, excuse me, is that Korean you're speaking by chance? He's like, yeah. I wasn't sure. It sounded very Mandarin. I could tell from your appearance you're more Northern Asian. Southern Asians got more melanin in them. So I figure you're not from China, maybe from the Korean area. So I figure I asked you, damn, you knew that? Yeah. I mean, hey, I like anime.
Shoot, so basically what me and Beast are trying to tell our people that it is time for us to stand in solidarity, even though I say it wrong. Basically, let's stay with the Asian community.
We
appreciate
their culture to say that the same way they appreciate. Notice how we never say shit as Black people. We never say shit about the Asian that if any other race was doing that shit, we'd be like, yeah, you just trying to be Black. We don't really say that shit to the Asians. Because on the flip, because they have a true appreciation and affinity for our culture, like we have for theirs. So to see a black dude doing them Shaolin Kung Fu ain't nothing to your eyes, just like seeing an Asian dude that's 6'4" with a mean ass uptown Caesar fade. That's all I'm saying. They know like we know. So for all you, like I said, go again, for all you woke folk out there, shut up, shut your mouth.
Yes, please.
Stop talking about being woke so fucking much. Actually open up your eyes and clean the crust out your woke eyes.
Maybe y'all Hotep too as well.
All of you. Every last one of you. I hope you see this. Please add me. We can get to any form of discussion you want to get into, my brother.
Hey, we want all the smoke.
Can't you tell?
But I'm gonna tell you, behind that smoke is an inferno. You will get choked up, but the inferno
trust believe. These lungs strong right here. These lungs strong.
Yeah. So we want all the smoke. But know there's an inferno right behind it. We stand with the Asian community. I'm proud to say it. I'm not ashamed because they stand for us and we can stand for them. And going back to those folks that just said this is not our fight, that's not an issue, that's not a problem. Guess what? You're the problem. And when that mess starts to happen to you, and we start calling y'all out on it, we're gonna see the same thing.
Ain't my problem.
You can call me a coon, you can call me a sabo all you want to, but when the issues that they got going on in their community right now starts happening to you and people that you love, we're gonna call you out on it. I want you to come back to this video. Come back to this video and remember that Alabante 31 and Beach Johnson said it. And they told you, tried to tell you that when it start happening to you, we're gonna call you out on it and we're gonna make fun. Well, we're not gonna make fun of you, but we just gonna tell you, try to tell you, and we're gonna give you all the grief, and you can cause whatever you want, as it would say. Call me all sorts of names other than the child of God. Try to tell you.
Don't make me know that, man, because I tell them straight up like this, like to all the little gang members. They be like, oh, well, this is my side. I only fuck with this side. My face good everywhere. Because I spent my time actually doing what the fuck I need to do and keeping my mouth shut and observing and only speaking on shit when I need to speak on shit. I ain't spend my time trying to prove to everybody, more importantly, prove to myself that I'm woke and I'm not like everybody else and I'm different and I'm on a whole nother intellectual, metaphysical, existential plane than everybody else. No, you ain't on my level. Well, you spend so much time trying to do that you can't really relate and prophesy or spread your knowledge to people because you ain't spend time actually being around those people. So I'm good with all races. I don't care what anybody tell them or anybody say about me. You can say this one thing. I am overtly and extremely racist in my thoughts towards all races. We all got issues.
Yeah.
But I stand for everybody.
Yeah.
I stand for everybody because at the end of the day, when the shit hit the fan, them bullets start flying, and bodies start dropping, it ain't what the fuck your color of your skin is that I'm worried about. It's the character of your heart. When I bump up back to back to you on some damn action movie sequence shit, it's the end. It's the last 20 minutes. Shit's getting real. You know that moment when you just get crazy. Bam, go back to back, turn, look, you see somebody you've been beefing with the whole fucking movie. And it's like, and what has happened? That nigga saved your life. Now y'all on me too, back to back. Bam, bam, bam. Defend, block, attack. Yeah, this shit look good. Michael Bay on this motherfucking tip right here. Notice, ain't nobody give a fuck about the color. Ain't nobody give a fuck about what your external setup was at that moment. It is about fucking survival. It's about making sure I can see another day. And if this motherfucking Punjab, if this motherfucking Irish, if this damn Polak, if this Spick, if this Wetback, if this Spear Chucker, if all of us in a goddamn circle and we all got the signified, unified thought of survival. Like Robert Downey, survive. Survive. That's all we hear in our head. Survive. Mm-hmm. I don't give a damn. We will drink to each other. We will drink to our comrades and our cultures. We could do that shit. I can hate you for that shit in the morning, but right now, I need you to check my 6, and I got your 4.
I think nobody haven't seen the old school movie of The Dirty Dozen. For any old school cat out there, that's an old school movie.
You can check out the remake. The remake is good with Denzel. I feel like the remake with Denzel is a more applicable just because of the racial diversity.
No. I know you're talking. No. I know you're talking about. No.
That's Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I get ready to say. Yeah. I know you're talking about. I like what you're saying. I like where you go with that. But The Dirty Dozen, actually, hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready. Here he is. Peace. Oh yes. Get the drum.
Open up the window. Open up the window now.
Ladies and
gentlemen, coming in on that fire escape.
Mr. Brother Love himself. He's our representative. He was running for Ohio U.S. Senate. Well, that's the U.S. Senate, but the House of Representatives. But yeah, he's our senator. He's our representative. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayo.
I'm about to record y'all. I'm about to record y'all, man. Everywhere I go, I play y'all. Y'all can walk me into any room I'm going into. I promise you.
Yo, I got work on it. I got to work on the intro for you, dog. I really do.
But look, ain't no problem. It ain't been a good tag team intro since the New Age Outlaws when it comes to just coming. You need that. You need that energy. That shit gets right.
So man, what we talking about? You came in at perfect time because we're mainly talking about this. Is our first half of the show, presented by Sky Zone Society. We were talking about what's been going on with the Asian community and that we need to stand alongside them. Yeah, to stand alongside with them, and for everybody else who's sitting there saying that's not an issue, not our fight, you are part of the problem. What do you say about that? What do you feel when you see the that one? I don't know if you saw the video. That one Asian woman who actually beat the hell out of her, the guy that tried to get at her, and seeing her cry and talk to her native tongue. You know,
before Mayo get into that, I just want to address the elephant in the room, the racist elephant that's sitting there doing wushu in a kimono. Have we not seen, as Black people, enough Saturday morning martial art flicks to understand that any and every one of them know that shit? How many movies we done seen? There's some old lady look like she can't do nothing, and they come fucking with her, and next thing you know, y'all find out that she's the hidden master of the eagle claw technique. And she just out here getting funky with one hand with one motherfuckers.
You just stop it.
Because you know it's true. So it's like, yo, this ain't the first time I've heard the story of an ignorant male, possibly white, between the ages of 18 to 34, because that's usually the ones to be out here doing that stupid shit. It's scientific and it's analytical. Don't at me. Point being, it was part of the same situation. Tried to run up on the old lady. Come to find out she was a black belt, and she literally beat that nigga to death.
But Bayo, let's go ahead.
There's a video of this. I want to make sure I get back to the topic.
There's a video of what he's talking about. The one I'm talking about.
You sent to me earlier to Instagram.
No. I'm about to send to you right now. But let's go ahead and give Mayo the floor and get his take on what's been going on in Atlanta and going all over America.
Right, and I thank you, by the way, and good evening to everybody. As usual, I'm running around making a lot happen, and I'm out here
making that money.
I'm missing a run to Lowe's real quick for this. I had to run to Lowe's. I was supposed to be making right now. Like, man, I said if I miss this brothers, I'm gonna win it.
Chasing that paper.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to, man. So yeah, I was supposed to be running to Lowe's for a job that some guys was working on my property tomorrow. So, but I'm missing that right now. But I figured I had to get on to it. I mean, it's been a while since I got on at least about 75% of the show, so I got to get on it tonight. But definitely, the topic is about the racial issue that Asian Americans are dealing with. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, racism on anybody is bad. I mean, and one of the things I want to make sure we mention is that we kind of have a bad definition of racism that you have to be in some kind of power to be able to be a racist. Um, I think that's not true. In all ways, because maybe in those isolated situations, yes, you're in power because you at that point you're inflicting harm on somebody, but sometimes just being a bystander and watching something racially motivated and wrong going on, and watching that go on and without saying anything, sometimes that could be a racial act as well, like in the sense of being implicit to what's going on. So I'm going to start from the lesser of this evil, the lesser wrong in this scenario that you're giving me, and say to those knuckleheads who might be black or any other color who are saying it is not our fight. That's a measure of some percentage. I won't say percentage because it makes it sound like I'm quantifying it, but it's a sample of a racial a racist mindset. They can to think they can like, oh, like only when it's happening to us. That's not only racist, it's selfish as well. And I hope that brothers and sisters will not allow themselves to go in that space. And I hope it's the minimum and the least percentage of us that's doing it. Just let's leave that aside. Now to the people who are perpetrating this initially, I'm talking about the actual act. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's like, for folks who feel like they're dominant, and if from day one they went to get people from every other country, and every other region of the globe, and oppress them. So, and they feel like some of them feel like they want to keep oppressing people. They want their race to be the most dominant, and it doesn't have to be. We should not be playing Olympics with people's lives. So I really just think that bottom line is racism is cruel. It's very ignorant. It shows that somebody is not well educated. That they don't understand the fact that we can all coexist. And I don't care what color, what race you are. If somebody is dogging you because of your race, we all need to stand up to that person and tell them to back off. And I mean, when I say that, I'm saying this terms in very light terms instead of back up. But yeah, they need to be punished. So, and we see some of these things coming. I don't. The one of the things I don't like is for everybody to blame the folks who did the insurrection. Oh, they're all racist. This, that. No. There are other people that you see that they are permissive, and they are and they're you can tell like and the actions that they take on everyday life, that it looks kind of way shady. And those are who they end up they get frustrated at some point and they do these things. They just need to understand that we can all coexist. We can all coexist. So I mean, it's a sad thing that happened in I think it's in Atlanta, right? Or is it in the South? Either way.
It's Atlanta. Yeah,
it's a sad thing that happened.
Atlanta, and I believe what happened to that elder woman. I just sent it to you. I believe
California.
I believe that that happened in San Francisco.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, and some people try to find a way to justify it. There's no way to justify anything if it's racially motivated. You don't like somebody because of their race. That's like something that every kid in middle school, high school should know. There's the worst thing that any human being can do. So I mean, I don't know where we got to where adults are doing it, and it's just the part of the problem is that we lie to each other. First of all, the country is not ready to apologize in the right way for what they've done to African Americans, for what they've done to Indian Americans. I mean the indigenous of our community. I'm talking about the folks who actually own the land. What they've done to them, they're not willing to apologize for what they've done in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Throwing an atomic bomb on people and everything. Because you find a war with the country, you throw a huge bomb on civilians because you didn't think that their life is worth anything because they're of a different race. They didn't try that stuff in other countries of the white countries You know, part of the reason why Truman did that is because him and his clowns that was around him felt like that it was that these folks, the Japanese, they didn't really matter to them. They didn't feel like their life was worth much because no, they were different race. So all these things that's been happening, people are not speaking up. I don't get surprised when I see these things happen because we breed that as a nation. When we fight countries like Iraq, George Bush goes to Iraq and dismantles the country over there and kills the leader, regardless of what he's done in his country or not. And it was based on a WMD that was not there. It was based on lies, and that's a war crime. And Obama gets in there and pardons him, so to speak, like not decide to tell Eric Holder not to go after him. Again, this is the empire that we live in, and the people that live in this empire will follow through. It's like kids following their parents. So I can never imagine when people get mad or get shocked at racism, because as a nation we do racist things. When we fight wars on countries, I've never seen us attack England, since the Civil War. Not Civil War, I mean since the Revolutionary War. I've not seen us attack England since the 1770s. I've not seen us attack like Canada. I've not seen. I mean, y'all think this is just by coincidence that we just not attacked all this country? No, because they're all white countries. We only attacked, Panama, took Panama over. So these are this signs of who we've decided want to be as a nation, and the fact that people had never gotten up to fight enough to say, this new neo Cold War that was the Cold War era that we're in, as we're attacking nations because of their race. It's gonna be happening on our soul internally. Whatever you do out there is gonna come back home. The chicken is gonna come home to roost, and that's what people don't understand. That we need to stop fighting all these wars. And I digress, but I appreciate the opportunity to get in on that. But again, violence begins violence, and that we're a violent nation. And I see how it's coming up on our streets.
Yeah. I'm happy for you giving your take on that, Beast. Not Beast, I'm sorry, but Beast, thank you for your take. But Mayo, thank you for your
like sometimes, we just got the grades, I got the
I mean, we got the bald head, we rock the bald head, but yeah, but
there you go, you and I got the bald head.
Yeah, we got the bald heads. But the thing is, it just sums up. We got to stand with our fellow brethren no matter what, because we just can't live in this. I'm just mind my own business. It ain't happening to me. It's like your stimulus check. It's like if Beast ain't got his stimulus check, and I'm like, man, ain't none of my business. I got my stimulus check, and Beast like, oh really? Okay, I got you. Or definitely if Beast was like, hey man, I ain't got my stimulus, dog. You think you can spot me, for some gas? I mean, not even ask for too much. Like, can you spot me for some gas? I'm like, no, man, I got this semi, I got other things that I need to worry about. And how much gas can for you? What, $50 can, maybe even 20 can give you half a tank, just about, depending on where you're at. Or depending on what type of car you got. And he's like, damn, man, you couldn't even spot me? Like 20? Okay, I got you. I know exactly where you go. I know exactly where you park. And so whatever can happen to Beast can happen to me, can happen to Mayo, and could happen to you. Like I said, I understand that we had a lot of movements that when Black people was involved, usually they piggybacked off us. But it also comes down to us too. It's like me inviting you and Beast to the house, but I give y'all the guidelines. I tell y'all, like, hey, don't go in the basement. If you need something from the refrigerator, you can ask me. You can go and get it. The man cave is downstairs. You got to give people guidelines. You got to tell people what they can and can't do. In this scenario, when you have a movement and you need allies, look, for you to get your point across, you're going to need allies. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to tell these Black conscious movements, like ADOS, like
ignorant.
That's
just what it is. We're ignorant.
Yeah,
and I know that can touch a bone because the word, the N word is supposed to be derived from ignorant, So, but in the sense of ignorant, just like as pure ignorance, that's what ADOS is. Anybody else who's saying they can, like these folks that they look at them like anybody that has this mindset. Me being a Black man that's proud about supporting the black culture is not to dog any other culture. If I saw a white boy being jumped by, so I had this argument in a different show before. I don't know. I doubt if I don't think it was this show, but it was about if I think it was about if black folks can be racist, and I said yes, we can be. All like, oh yeah, right. This that. You don't got to have power. Black folks they never have power. I'm like, stop it.
It's in your actions.
What is it?
It's in your actions.
Yeah. If I walk into a corner of my neighborhood and I saw one white boy being jumped by 10 black dudes, guess what? And I found out it was because it was white. I'm gonna jump in there and push him away because it ain't right. It ain't right. Anywhere at all where you dogging somebody because of their race, it's racism. And you can at any point within even though it's a small sector of a big sector where white folks have the most power, we're a minority of a big sector, right? But on a small level, anybody can find themselves a minority within all that small little sectors. And in that sense, not any minority should not be picked on. Nobody should be picked on about anything. So Asian minority, Mexicans, I don't care who you are. If anybody picking on you because of your race, everybody else should jump in and push that person away.
Right, but watch out, Mayo. They're gonna call you a Sambo and a coon.
I already know. You know how I am.
Look, back to what I said. When the shit get ugly and niggas start dropping, I know I'm good because every race fuck with me.
Right. And
so I know when that D-Day hit.
What?
I got my allies.
Yeah, and the thing is, even though Mayo, I do believe that black people can't be racist, they can be prejudiced. But when you told me your version of it, I was like, damn, okay, I can understand that. I can get it. I didn't. But see, the thing is, I think we just condemn people without actually hearing what they meant. They just go off a knee-jerk reaction. That's also the problem too, as well. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk about this a little bit more. But then,
I gotta make one more point if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
I just think that what we do is like I said at our last show, we have this resentment, which could be rightfully so or not, but one that most people don't know, but we know within our community that we have, and we don't because it's not public enough. It's within us, and we keep keeping it within us. And one of the reasons why probably has not been let go is because we never got reparations. The same folks who promised it to us never gave it to us. Number two, some of it is still going on today. A lot of it is still going on today, especially systemic. So I think all this resentment comes out, and we feel like because of that, we can never be the one putting pressure on somebody, but we sure can be. Like I said, in every little segment, you might have some areas where you might be a majority and everything. And I hate to take this conversation from white men, being hating on an Asian, to now talking about where we could be wrong, because folks will be like why do black folks always gotta talk bad about black? Well, no, it's not that. I'm just saying that in a small sector of this conversation, let's hold ourselves accountable sometimes and say like we need to be better people as well. If you see wrong, I don't care who that wrong is happening to, jump in. I know you made that analogy of ally. That would be the practical reason for us to jump in. But the moral reason is because no one should be done wrong because of the color of the skin, and that's just what it is. I don't care what they are. I mean, and just like when we were talking about the immigration issue, initially when Obama was in office and immigration issue came, it was about how a group of black folks at that point was having an issue about Obama, wanting to worry about immigration issue. The part where I agree with them was the fact that he ain't done nothing for blacks yet, but he's gonna do something for Mexicans. I agree. I'm like, dang, at least don't punish us because you're black. Don't I agree with that part. But the idea of them being mad at all day is doing something for his, in the sense of immigration and trying to make it, what's the act with the children that come over,
DACA.
The DACA. So some black folks are mad and all that. I'm like, nigga, go sit down.
Right. And the sad thing is, they don't even know what DACA stand for or what it's for, because DACA is really big out here in Seattle. Like my girlfriend's friend actually. She works for a school that actually have kids up in there that actually works through DACA. So she told me good things about it. She told me bad things about it. I wish I could. I think I could get her on the show that she could talk about much more. But nice. Yeah, there are things that, and see, this is for another discussion for another show. where we talk about things and we don't know nothing about it. You know, we don't even know nothing about it because we just hate who the person is. This is beyond the messenger. This is things that you don't even know anything about. But let's go ahead and take a commercial break. Let everybody get back to our corners. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about this subject about us standing with the Asian community, and then we're gonna jump into the Sharon Osbourne controversy. What do we got to think about that?
I've not heard about that. Yeah,
I heard something about that.
We gonna get into that, but we got some bills to pay. We be right back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen right. We are hosting a watch party. We're going to give you more of the details as the days get closer. March 26th. Tune in. Once we get the movie picked out, we're going to let you know. And I just got some... So a volcano erupted near Iceland. That's my notification. Speaking of news alerts, did anybody get their brackets this year?
I feel like ain't no point. Like I'm just gonna stand by my whole pandemic premise. Ain't no point doing no brackets for none of that shit. It's like half the teams couldn't even fucking play or chose not to play. And even the teams that played, none of them played 100%. They ain't have a full roster. So it's like, I mean, I'm like, just chalk this shit up to the pandemic and try again next year.
Well, my bracket just What about you?
I never do brackets. I have this theory about being I play college ball. I feel like any time in life, I would not sit down there and bet or gamble or speculate on paper and not put enough energy to put on paper how somebody else is gonna play, knowing that I had my time, and I had my time. So that's one thing. Number two, my team lost bad today in an upset that it's just, I mean, they didn't come out to play. So it was like their asses was handed to them, and I was so. I was like, man, forget it. I ain't watching this stuff no more. I'm not a big basketball fan, too. That's another thing. So I don't really do that much of a lot of brackets for that reason. But when the way they lost today, I'm like, what?
I think I know who you're talking about. You talking about Ohio State?
Oh man, come on, man. Yeah,
I
you know,
If y'all heard what Mayo
I
said, if y'all heard what Mayo said clearly, I heard what he said. I don't bet or speculate on paper. I leave no trail.
he said,
See,
It's all
'cause
verbal, and that shit's harder to prove in court.
look,
I see you, my nigga.
the
I be
So-
listening now.
look, so the reason why I brung it up because I actually had Ohio State going to the Final Four, so my bracket
Oh,
just
wow.
it imploded in my face. Bad enough, Virginia Tech lost. Freaking Georgia Tech lost. Georgia Tech. For all of y'all Yellow Jacket fans out there who think they're part of the ACC, unfortunately, y'all just lucked into our conference. Y'all garbage. You suck. You will never win a national championship ever again in basketball, and definitely not in football, not even in life. The Georgia Bulldogs, even though I hate the SEC, yes, I say I hate the SEC.
That is Duke hatred level
I
love
hate-
right there.
I can't stand the SEC neither.
Look. SEC is overrated, but guess what? The Georgia Bulldogs are always going to be y'all daddies. And every time they be like, hey, who's your daddy? Y'all always going to say, yes, you are daddy. I'm not going to do it in the other voice, but that's how y'all do it. Georgia Tech fans, y'all garbage. Y'all suck. Y'all not even the real Georgia team, okay? Y'all are like the Dollar Tree version of a football team, of a program,
This
of a
nigga said
sport
Dollar Tree
program. Period. Y'all won the ACC championship, and y'all flaked against a garbage Loyola? Loyola? The one with the nun
Davis?
who is they brought the nun that always come to every single, bless her heart, that comes to every single one of the games. Loyola?
Viola Davis out there on the field.
Oh my
She over there getting away
Hold
with
up.
murder. She getting yours.
hold up. Did I just do a Soldier Boy Breakfast Club moment, Drake? I just did that. Loyola? The one that got the 101-year-old nun in a wheelchair that go to every single one of the games, and now she got on a mask. Loyola? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I had to rant. So at least I got 3 wrong. I got 3 wrong, and one was a freaking one that led all the way to the final. I should have just stuck with Baylor. I should just pick Baylor. Oh my gosh. But anyways,
yeah, I'm telling
back
you,
to
man,
something
about the pandemic, like Beast said, something about the pandemic. I think that
that's all we can do. Just chalk it up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, let's to close out what we was talking about earlier. It's sad that when these things happen, but I'm also going to pinpoint this to the Asian communities that believes that all the stuff that happens to Black people don't happen to them.
Great point.
Now
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so see,
here's your sign.
So see, in our terms, now you know how it feels to be a nigga. Now you know how it feels to feel less than what you are.
Your nigga moment is calling.
So now you see why we say Black Lives Matter. Now you see when people, your own people, march with us because we're in this struggle together. Just because you on the other side of the boat does not mean you're not on the same boat that I am on. Just because you sitting up, since you up there on the second level of the boat playing casino, at the crap table, and we at the buffet, does not mean we're not on the same boat. We all in the same boat. Now you know how it feels. Everybody get their moment. Everybody get that moment where they're gonna bring you down to earth. You on cloud 9, but eventually that ride ends. Just like any roller coaster. It has its ups and it has its downs. But just like it has its ups and downs, it also got a start point and it got an end point. So now,
it brings into question, Donnell. It brings into question accountability and acknowledgement, because we're seeing another trend of racially motivated or racially perceived crimes being committed, and it's all trying to use the whole mental health excuse and vagueness of it.
See, and that's why I'm about to get you too. You heard what the sheriff said. You heard what the
He
sheriff
was
said.
having a bad day.
They're having a bad day. I'm sitting there like, whoa, oh, we using that. We using that. I guarantee you, every Asian American who was watching that mess felt the same way every time one of us get killed. And they don't use that type of example. Like when that one kid came up into that church and killed all those church goers. I've got what was his name?
Carolina or something.
Dylan Roof. They took him. Hey, at least they didn't take that.
They took him to get something to eat.
Yeah, they took him to Burger King. We took him to Burger King. We took him to Burger King. And one of the
something to eat and killing some people.
Took them to get something to eat, and one of the freaking officers told him, I forgot what he told him. I knew he used the N-word or something like that. I forgot what he told him, but along the words, along the things that he told him, he used the N-word. But took this dude to go get something to eat because he gave himself up. And everybody, and we kept saying, oh, wow, he got taken in peacefully. No shootouts. No, he didn't get shot. He didn't get roughed up. He gave himself up. And not to mention, they gave him a nice little police, the little vest too, And now, all the Asian Americans that believe that, oh, black people, that's your issue, that's your problem. Look what's happening. I gave my people the work. Now I got to give y'all that work. Now I'm not talking about all of those who actually know that we're in the same boat. I'm talking to the ones that don't believe that we're in this boat, on the same boat. Now you see what happened to y'all. The police sheriff, he basically just told y'all, we don't give a damn about y'all. Y'all can have your own community, but guess what? Guess who's going to be riding through your communities too? Guess who's going to over police y'all too? Yeah. Guess who's going to over police y'all too? Y'all not special. Y'all think that we just gonna do this in the black community? Oh no, we're gonna do it in y'all community too. I don't care how many businesses y'all have. I can walk in anytime I want to. I can make up a warrant.
It's the reason why we say colored. Right. The reason why we say colored.
We can come on up in here.
Talking about us.
Look, we could come in. We can gentrify. You saw what happened during the crack epidemic. You don't think that won't happen again? But this time in your community, you ever thought about that?
I mean, you got to think about was it 1985 or 7? The riots in San Francisco, or not? Was it San Francisco or in California? Let me just put it like that. Before
in LA. I know you're talking about the LA
Watts riots. It was Asian mother that shot. I mean, this thing has been going on for too long. And one thing I want to say, two things actually. One is that, for the sake of group identity, we send Asians and black, whatever. We understand that not 100% of people are doing this, and I understand that there's a high level of black people who are tolerant of people like. Obviously, we got three out of 3 on the show today, so obviously that means there's a lot of us that are tolerant, and they're tolerant of others, but they're intolerant of racism regardless of who is on, and will speak out whenever they get a chance to. There's a high level of us. But at the same time, there's those few who are always messing up the thing, like the ADOs and folks that I talked about earlier. On the other end, there's a high level of Asians who are probably somewhere more respectful. And I would say I don't know too many, so I don't want to say, but I would like to believe there's a high level of them who believe that anything wrong with Black Americans or blacks around the globe, that they believe that it's racism and it's not nice. And I would like to believe that, but to be honest with you, I don't think that a lot of them think so. And that, back to your point, which if a lot of them don't think so, which is what I think and you think, is like hopefully they can take this moment and to make them realize that we are all in the same battle, and hopefully this moment can let them know that if what you let go comes back and hit you, which is it's all said in Dr. King's quote saying injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That's exactly what he means.
Came up with that.
And I've always said that. Right. I've always used that about my people, for us to be stand up for other people's pain and all that. But obviously this time it's for these Asian Americans to realize that that's where it's just hit them in the face. The ones that don't sympathize or empathize to us most of the time, because we all know how it's in our society, especially in American society. It's the white folks, and after that is the Asians or whatever, and everybody goes on, and then it's probably Mexicans who gets the black folks, and everybody steps on us. Everybody tramples on us, And what I hope that we can get to some days where there's nobody tramples on nobody. Everybody respects each other. That's where we should all be at. But for some reason, it's almost like you in the bully yard in high school or middle school. And the kids that got bullied last year now want to join the ranks of the bullies so they can bully the next kid, and opposed to trying to make sure that we all join a group, a big group, to say no bullying of anyone. So that's where we got to try to keep educating each other and keep showing love towards each other. But again, I'm glad you brought that point up about how a lot of Asian Americans, that's what happened in that LA Watts riot. When the lady shot the guy. And before Asians and blacks are fighting, and it just continues to be different subgroups in America fighting each other because they want to be safe. They want to take second place. They want to fight in the hierarchy. Opposed to saying that there should not be any place. There should be one place, which is the human race.
And then also it was also to create that tribal, stay within your tribe, when it's like without an ally. I mean, as you can see with wars, like America wouldn't even won all their wars without an ally. Right. You have to have an ally.
Even in tribal sense, the farmers still were cool with them hunters and the fishermen, because everybody had to eat. So everybody had the understanding of working with each other.
The French help out the Americans during the Revolutionary War. Guess what? We ain't had that much manpower, and also we ain't had that many weapons. And then also think about, how about this? What about World War II? People don't want to talk about, the Tuskegee Airmen, and then also the supply unit in the Army, and also Puerto Ricans that served in the Army that actually kept World War II going, that actually kept us in the war when they didn't want blacks to fight in the war. Guess what they did? They made a big ass difference. But also we had the allies of freaking Russia, even though Russia was a very communist country. And then we had the help of the UK. UK almost got ran over by freaking Germany. They was this close. I forgot what that movie's called. I always wanted to.
It was like a hot tag in a championship tag team match. It's like, he's getting pulled. Oh, he's almost there.
I forgot what movie that was, but the movie was based on the UK almost getting overrun by Germany. I mean, Germany was like right there on the cusp of destroying.
They've done several games on that title. Saboteur is one in particular.
So basically, what I'm saying is, you're gonna need an ally to get what both of y'all want, or what you want and what you need, and that you can give them what they need in return to as well. And I know a lot of y'all look. And I know a lot of y'all gonna come at us and gonna sit there and say, well, black folks, we shouldn't even have to worry about, because they piggyback off us all the time. Once again, you have to have your guidelines. You got to, in the military, we got they call the SOP, where you know exactly what you need to do. A code of conduct that you have to tell somebody. You just ain't gonna let nobody run. Once again, you're not gonna let nobody just run up in your house after you just tell them, hey, you want to go in my refrigerator? Let me go ahead and get it for you, or let one of my kids, or let my wife get it for you. You want a sandwich? You can go ahead and fix it yourself. Don't go in this room. If you go upstairs, the bathroom's on the left-hand side. I mean, you gotta tell people these things, because you gonna have people that gonna come up in there and thinking that is their house, take their shoes off, because you got my girlfriend. Oh my gosh, take your shoes off before you get in the house. Okay, cool. Didn't take it off. Me, I'm used to a household where right. Look, I'm used to going up in the house with my shoes on, and I take it off where I'm at. I'm not gonna wear my shoes and walk all over the place. That's just me. But I always gotta take my shoes off. But see, these are things you gotta tell people, because if you don't tell them, they're going to run amok. This is why when we have these groups, I'm gonna use Black
Humans
Lives
need
Matter.
limits.
Yeah. So
humans need limitations.
So
we need boundaries.
right, and you got to tell them that. So, like with Black Lives Matter, you know, they got all these endorsements and all this stuff from other people. So they didn't give the guidelines when they got all this money, where they sit there and say, now what you talk about LGBTQ plus, you know, talk about their problems and issues, put that out there. They should have said, okay, we're gonna take this money, but we're gonna mainly focus on the Black trans, the Black LGBTQ first. We're gonna focus on them first, and then whatever you got, then we're gonna handle it from there. But we're gonna handle the Black LGBTQ plus. That's what the guidelines should be. You just
And
can't
I won't
have
even
a
say
free
that.
for all.
I won't even. I do it one better in regards to that. When it comes to situations like the LGBTQ community, that is a melting pot like America itself. So I would say, not only we will deal with, but we will offer support primarily for those affected, those requiring assistance of our culture and race. So yeah, all the Black LGBTs, y'all need that help, need that support.
We're gonna help them out first. Yeah, that's gonna be our priority first.
That is our form of supporting the movement, because unilaterally we may not agree with it or truly understand it, but we do know, and we can all agree that it's Black folk going through it, and it's just, as a Black person, it's just one more reason for the world to just hate you. Like, you're Black and you're gay and you're like, you're Black, gay, transgender, binary. You just want the world to fuck with you. That's how most Black people look at life.
Right. I mean, and then also
we know how hard it is just to be Black.
So I mean, it's already strike. It's already strike 2 right there. You're gay. That's already another strike 2. That's 4 strikes.
You're Black and gay. Oh,
now you trans. That's add 5 more to that. I don't know, in baseball, 3 strikes you're out. You beyond out. You sit. You basically sitting in a dugout, and you get strikes.
Why you here? No, it's like, why you look bad?
And look, and you still
I respect you, baby, but just sit down.
And you still getting
I'm
strikes.
gonna pitch it for you.
Look, and you still getting strikes going back to the locker room. How does that work? So, but that's what I'm saying. Not trying to go too much off what I'm trying to say, but we should have guidelines when our allies come in. You didn't think that Stalin and FDR and freaking Winston Churchill didn't have guidelines when they made their pact? You ain't think that Adolf Hitler and Mussolini, and I've got the Chinese dictator, you didn't think when they all met together that they didn't have like guidelines like, look, we will help you out, but make sure you stay away from out of here. And Mussolini ain't say the same thing, or Winston Churchill was like, look, the UK's about to get over attacked, so I just need 10 Americans to come over there. You know, you got to have guidelines. People have to understand where you're coming from and what they can do to contribute, but not leaving out all those Asians that thought that this would never happen to them. This been happening to us for 400 years. And also at the same time, we know this happened to y'all for a long, long time when y'all first got over here. Y'all remember y'all remember the gold rush. Remember the gold rush. Y'all came over here. They been catching it. Even y'all worse. Came over here. I mean, y'all ancestors came over here for the gold rush, but not to mention, y'all the ones that actually put it in with the railroad tracks and beyond.
What?
And y'all been getting heat as much as we were.
No, they was colonized over there before they got to America and had America really structured. They was already over there in India and Asia hard, like practicing.
Yeah.
So once they got the niggas over here in America, they knew exactly what to do.
So with all that being said, y'all got y'all wake up call. Because I know that y'all are all about the economics within y'all community. And also, don't get it twisted. Black folks, we was doing it a long time ago. We've been hip to the game on it for a very, very long time too.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get it twisted. But even during those times, you saw what happened. They made sure to let us know who we are. Even during World War II, y'all had to go in the American version of concentration camps. They made sure to let you know who they thought you was. No different than what is happening today. So understand, your community could have all the financials, have politicians in place. They still going to help remind you where you fall on the totem pole. It goes from, oh, it's not a hate crime. He was just having a bad day. Oh, not to mention he had a sex addiction. And what we hear, Hobies, and this is identical to what we hear. Oh, for Breonna Taylor, she was selling drugs out of her apartment.
Well, we think her boyfriend was selling drugs, even though she was training to be a cop and just was legally a cop.
Or hearing that he had a gun, but he told you that he was a registered gun holder, and you still shot him. These are things that we hear. Or he resisted when he had an illegal chokehold on him and he said he couldn't breathe. Welcome back to the world that you continue to ignore. Welcome to our world. This is not just black people. It's you too. Welcome back to the world. As I got up in here, I got that new Coca-Cola coffee.
They got a new Coca-Cola coffee.
Yeah.
You got a Coke coffee?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
really? Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I like how you just call it exactly what it is, Coke coffee. Because it's gonna get you, it's gonna keep you up.
Yeah, so with that,
but there's the Coca-Cola coffee though?
Coca-Cola coffee. Yep. I'm not gonna show it because Coca-Cola ain't cutting the check, so I ain't going to.
Right.
Even though I love Coca-Cola, but just to allude to what I'm saying, it's time for you to sit up to this table and smell the coffee, because now you know how they feel about you, and that white supremacy just don't happen to black folks. It's happening to you too. So you can go over there, you can sit at that small little table all you want to, but guess what? We all still in the house of white supremacy. But for those who've been rocking with us a long way and know that we're in the same boat, know we're in this house of white supremacy and actually sitting with us at the table, we thank you. We thank you.
So the one thing, you know, I mean, I don't always look for ways to disagree, but I know one thing that you keep saying that I feel like it's one thing to say again, in the practical way, we can look at it like what you're saying. I still believe we should be on the moral side. The idea about allies or not, fuck that. You know what I mean? It's not about having an ally. It's about this shit is just inhumane. It's not right to hate somebody upon their race. It's not the right way. It's a immature. It's a ignorant. I mean, you can think about so I think that what you're saying and what I'm saying is true and can help out the situation in the sense of us, you know, being allied to them and them being allied to us. But anytime something happens to us, they should always be at our rescue. Anybody should always be at our rescue, because they should know that the people that are doing this to us are the worst people on the planet because they're ignorant. We should all love each other regardless of race. At the same time, likewise, anything sometimes to them, everybody should be at our. It should not be about. There should never be a racial ally, because that should not be something that we should distinguish ourselves from when it comes to treatment of good or bad. It should never be. That itself lies racism. Is what I was trying to get at. That the fact that we can look at another subgroup, that the minority group, and say, "Oh, they're like, I ain't gonna help you on because they're different." That's racism right there. And then we're like, "Oh, we can never be racist." No, that's racism right there. If you choose, if I watch somebody right now, and they are just on the they are just about to get caught on fire, and some white guys is catching them like some Mexican on fire, and I'm like, oh man, like, and I got a bucket, I got a bucket of water in my hand. I'm like, nah, that ain't my. You think that's not racism?
That's. I mean, I feel like this. That's just
that's why I go back to my statement earlier of racially perceived. Because even as you're stating it, I'm trying my damnedest to put a logical, or at least like put concrete context behind that statement, because that's gonna be the automatic rebuttal with anything. So like if it's racially perceived, I go back to your point. You just got to treat each other like fucking humans. Fuck what your skin is, because at the end of the day, when shit get ugly, what my outward appearance don't mean nothing. Like, get sci-fi with it. If everything that damn Will Smith and every other celebrity went out in space to go fight and see and run from, if that shit turned out to be real, do you think any one of us is gonna be like, I'm not gonna save you from the acid spitting xenomorph or the goddamn pie people because you're not my race? Fuck this shit, bro. I don't even know who in my race who's affected right now. I know you not. That's the main thing, and that's what counts. G.I. Joe. So all this color shit is just stupid. Yeah. Like, it's just stupid at the end of the day. The only way we can move forward as humans is we have to treat each other as humans. There should be no logical, fiscal, sensible, rational reason why a person's skin tone should come into play, especially in 2021, where skin tone don't mean shit, because about a good 65% of them is mixed with some shit. So just because they look light skinned don't mean they black. They could be got. Zoe Saladin is the best example I can give. Everybody thinks she's black. She's not. Genetically, she is not black. She is not one of us. She is like Colombian. She is pure South American, like Colombian Panamanian. Now, yeah, they got some Afrocentric roots in it, but she ain't black. She wasn't born black. She wasn't born African. But she look it. She damn sure look it. We can all agree on it. Yeah,
they sure put her in no black movies.
Yeah, but here's the thing to Mayo's point about people being racist. Now, I did say you gave me a different way of looking at racism, but the one thing that's missing is prejudice. That's the biggest thing that nobody don't talk about that people are actually doing. People perceive being prejudiced as being racist. No, it's not. I'm not going to say that, if I
look up the definition. I hate to cut you off, but look up definition.
Yeah, but we're forgetting prejudice. We just can't perceive being prejudiced as being racist. Those are two different things. I think racism is a word that's been jumped around that people don't know the actual meaning of it. Because if you're a racist, you're practicing racism. I won't say I hate, but I do believe for you to be a racist it's the action of you being a racist. And what I mean by that is what you see with what's been happening to us for over 400 years, what's been happening right now currently with this story with the Asian community. That's racism committed by a racist. Now, but the thing is, you don't see black people lynching white folks. You don't see Asian people lynching black folks or lynching white folks. Racism is what's making money with the country today. I don't know what's been going on for the past 10 years when now we got white people who can't say the N-word. The next thing close to it, it's racist. So let's go ahead and call black people racist when they come at us now. That's why I feel. And then the sad thing is people who have black people that look like us have that same philosophy, start using that word to a lot, saying, yeah, black people can be racist. And black people be like, by definition, we don't own nothing. We cannot oppress somebody that don't look like us from buying land, from going out to vote.
That's systemic racism.
But and that's my point. And that's my point. That's my point. We don't even have a, we don't even. I won't even say it's an excuse because
no, hear me. It's an excuse of looking in the mirror.
If we do not have that much power, or at least garnish that much power to change it systemically, or at least be in position of power to have at least majority of the businesses out here that's owned by us, like Fubu said, for us, by us, then how in the world can you say that, well, shit, you're a racist for just coming at somebody at a different place? I can be prejudiced.
It's an excuse from looking in the mirror. The definition of prejudice, and from my understanding, we can all look it up and do like a recap next week or whatever. It's not like when you look at your race, when you think of your race, a prejudice is more of an internal thing. Racism is an external thing. When you think of your race, as you think them like that you, because of your race, you feel like they're better than another race, or you're better than somebody because or you feel like you look at your like I could say like I'm prejudiced to another show, another TV show because I love My Brother's Beast and I'm prejudiced to the Breakfast Club and like fuck the Breakfast Club because you look at your own clan and you feel like they're better, or you like your clan, you favor them somehow more than another clan or another group or whatever. That's all internal. When you take an action on prejudice, it's racism. I don't care what action it is. Anytime you take an action on a prejudice act, that's when it's racism. So a cop says in there, and he's looking at this black man, he thinking to himself, like, man, this motherfucker probably like a thief, or he was probably a low class, all this thing. The moment when he stops him just because he sees him of who he is, his color of his skin, that's when the racism comes in, and that is not. Nobody is what's what I'm looking for. Nobody's exempt of that naturally in life. We all have prejudice built within us. The question is, don't act on your prejudice, then become a racist. And if any of us had done it at any point in our life, we've done racial acts. And we just don't want to think ourselves like we can do racial act because we look at the ultimate racial act that's been done against us, and we're like, oh, I'm not one of those people that did that stuff. They held us in slavery. In slavery. Those are racist. I'm not racist. I ain't had nobody in slavery. You don't have to be. It's just like if you lie, there's a different type of life. Then you can do many things that are sin. A sin is a sin. Racism is racism. If I'm sitting here and I feel bad about some other racial group, which I all the stereotypes that go run through my head once in a while, if I act upon it at any point, I've just done a racial act. And that's the definition. It's just like the whole thing. If people look at the dictionary and look at the letter of the word of what they do and say, it makes me laugh a lot how, and even the word bigotry. I remember people talking about Trump is a bigot, and they start to treat him wrong. Then they forget about the fact that the definition of bigotry is for you to treat somebody wrong because of their beliefs. So the person who's a bigot, who you're treating wrong because of his beliefs, when you start to treat that person wrong, you've now become a bigot too. And people don't get it. So I mean, because if you look at the definition of bigotry, of racism, of prejudice, this is what the definitions are. And if we're going to go by definitions, we can go by. Or we want to go back by the common and culture, or like the urban or whatever. How the American definition always swings every day and changes around what's popular and what's not popular. But that's what it is. That's why I can never, for myself, treat Trump bad because I think he's an asshole. I mean, I'm not going to treat him bad because I'm now becoming a bigot just like him. Because unless he did something wrong, if I treat him back because of his actions, it's different than I treat him back because of his belief. But when I treat him back because of his belief, now I became a bigot, even though I might be right in my belief that I should not be a bigot, and I'm treating him wrong because he's a bigot. The fact that I'm treating him wrong because of his bigotry thinking, I just pulled myself into that bigotry. Now, if I treat him wrong because of his actions, racial action, that doesn't make me big, but just because of his thinking, because that's what he treats people wrong because of their thinking of who they are or their beliefs. That's bigotry. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So sometimes
I'm giving you floor.
I hear where you're going. I hear where you're going, Mayo.
I'm just going with definition of words, bro. I've always loved that. Prejudice.
But I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Racism is external. When you act on your prejudice, it's racism. You don't have to have the power or like, I'm not the CEO of this company. I'm not. We don't run anything. I'm like, well, the areas where you run, There are many times that people step in those areas, and they're minorities in those areas.
Okay, so here's my question. So you said, because I like to give people the floor and don't interrupt them or anything.
No.
I'm just I gave the floor because that's how I am when it comes to like debating and talking to somebody. Rather than now, if somebody was talking BS, then I will. I had to do the roller Martin on you, but like but my thing is this: what acts out of their prejudice that you call being a racist for Black people, what have they done to make you come to that? What examples can you say? Black people, when you say that we can become a racist woman.
Hold on. I'm not, and I've never said Black people are racist because I'm a Black man. But you said that some of us, like the ADOs of them, those immigrants type motherfuckers. I just said
because thing is, me and you agree on the ADOs and the foundational Black American and all this stuff. We agree with that because I believe groups like that put on the blinders and don't believe that there's allies that helped us to get to where we are.
I get that in a practical way.
We got to call like it is. I mean,
they're all allies. But what I'm saying is, in a human beings world, in love each other world.
But see, the thing is, we haven't even gotten there yet. And see, I understand that you want to see it from that, but we haven't gotten there yet in society. That's one thing we have to understand. We haven't gotten there. We haven't gotten there yet because if we gotten there to the point where we get to see people as human beings, all this stuff that's going on right now, we wouldn't say Asian. We wouldn't have a Black Lives Matter. It would be, but that's what I'm trying to say.
You're making my point.
No, but you say that we all at that point right now. We're not at that point. Some people that are saying that there wouldn't be a Black Lives Matter. It will be more of everybody coming. Now, see, if all lives matter, that's when all lives matter will actually have a meaning.
Black Lives Matter.
Right. It would say all lives matter. That's what all lives matter would have a meaning because you have everybody out there on the streets. But we're not there yet. So we have to say allies when we have other people from the other ethnicity coming in to help us out.
I just want to make the point, just to make clarity about stuff. I'm not tagging nobody in particular with this. I'm just saying, as a Black person, it's easier for me to speak to my own people. It's easier. It's harder sometimes, but it's also easier too. I can say like I'm Black people this, Black people that, because I'm one. And anybody who think I'm not, then they can take my middle finger and hold it in front of their head all day. But my point, is I'm just keeping it real. And my point is that I want the best, and I grew my family like this too. Like my family, my frat. I expect the best from anybody who's part of my circle. Easy. You're gonna get that. Get me some of that. But I got you. So I'm telling you. So like I grew my family and my friend and everybody because I'm like, anybody around me, I want us to be striving for the best. And the best of being a human being is to live with love and to live without that hate anymore, or to live and feel like I am that I ask everybody to be off. When I ask everybody to be off, I am that and more. So when you said again that we're not there at all, and when we can see people without race, no, you're right. That's the point I'm trying to make. That we all do these things. The only difference is that they have so much. When I'm by day, white folks, the white supremacists, they have so much more power than we do. So they dominate us more than we have a chance to dominate anybody else. But what I'm saying is sometimes is key. What I'm trying to say. Some of us will use our power to dominate other people, and we have power on. And moments, and those moments we do it because they look different. And what I'm telling you is that at those moments, that's racism. We cannot now say that because I'm Black, I can't be racist. That's some bullshit. Because that moment we do racial acts at those moments, even though they're smaller moments, but they are racial acts at those moments. And I'm not saying we should be Gandhi or we should all be Dr. King, I wish we can all be like Dr. King. I don't think Dr. King would be calling out Hispanics, Americans, or like don't let them Hispanics in. You know, I don't think he'd be saying the things that you know what I mean. So he's an example of what I said. A lot of us are striving to be better to every day, and some of us are like, F that. I ain't gonna be that. You know, I'm just gonna hit on anybody who's not black. You know, if you ain't black, you ain't shit. I mean, a lot of us are like that internally, and we don't say it, but you know, we all saying to each other right now. We don't say it.
But you know what I tell you, know what I say to them, Mayo? According to genetics and scientific research performed by the utmost esteemed and highly intelligent officials, it was proven that the mother, the Eden, if you will, the Eve of our entire humanity and existence, was in fact a black person. You just say, I don't fuck with anybody that's not black. On a genetic level, we're all black because everybody came from us. So all you doing is hating your light-skinned cousin.
Yeah, but like I say, I'm still going to stick on the I still stick on the prejudice part of it. But other than that, yes, we need to stop trying to fight for second place, and that we all should come together, which goes back to what all of us been saying. We need to stay alongside as Beast just left us.
but my plea to you, the way I want you to join me at, is that we need to stop sugarcoating when we do stuff like that and call it like that's hold on, and call it just prejudice. That's just prejudice. It's not racist. No, if you're telling me that you don't want some Hispanic American and you call them the WB, slang, if you call them and you do any of that around me, to me, I might not send them to you as a brother that day because everything is going well, whatever. But sometimes I might call you to the side and be like, no, I don't like the way you said that, whatever. And because the reason why I would do that is because I know that was a racial act, and that's a racist act. Yeah. Even if you said it or if you act it out, it's a racial act and it's a racist act, and it might not be as bad as the other man's sin is to us, but that don't mean that we should sin to somebody else and feel like it's okay because we the one that's done the sin that we've had the ultimate sin done to us. Does not mean that we can sin on anybody else. Because I got jumped at a club last week. Don't mean like I go smack my wife at home, but the people that jumped me, them are those assaulters. I didn't assault her. I just slapped her.
Right. I got you, and I do agree that when we see one of our brothers, or sisters that's not only just of us but somewhere else, we should jump in. That's one thing that the military has always told us to do, is when you see one of your fellow brothers and sisters down, you should have their six, as we say, got my six. That's one of the biggest things about the military. When I always say battle, that's our code for friend. You're freaking, you never know. That one soldier came from like a rural South, probably never been around black people before, but guess what? He could be your guardian angel, or you could be his guardian angel when you go down in the freaking trenches. So that's why I agree with the point where you like, if I see somebody, down, even though it don't look like me, it's all my people jumping on them, I'm gonna go up in there and help them out or her out. Like, yo, basically, what the fuck's going on here? What? Yeah. So, and that's one of the biggest things that I have learned with the military. We're supposed to have each other's back, regardless of the situation that we find ourselves in. But other than that, just to sum up all the things that we were saying, we need to stand with the Asian community, regardless, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think that this can't happen.
I said in a different way, we need to stand with the human race. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so yeah, and that too as well. We just got to get out this mentality of, it ain't happening to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving. It can happen to anybody at any time. That could have been your mother, could have been your grandmother. Hell, it could have been your grandpa. Because right now they always aim for the older, the vulnerable. They gonna aim for them first. Nowadays, now they aiming for the kids. That could have been your kid. That could have been your son.
What?
So we need to get out this mind frame of a better them than me. Because when it happens to you, the same world that you sit there and say is none of your business, and now it happens to you, and they say the same thing to you, now all of a sudden it's fuck the world. I hate the world. I hate the people that's in it. But not realizing you spoke that into existence. It's funny. I actually saw a meme. I wish I could have shared it. I saw a meme on Facebook where they have all these men. They was cutting in the maze. One guy was throwing his trash or his like whatever on the other side of somebody else's grass, and then you got the same person throwing grass on his stuff, and the slogan basically says you give what you get, what you get, you give what you get. And I was like, yo, I always try to preach that. That's one thing I try to live by, because life is an investment, ladies and gentlemen. I said that on the Elamante show. I say it up on here. Life is an investment. We all investors. I'm not talking about the type of investment that Mayo is making. He's a billionaire, but everybody, when you do good things in life, guess what? You get great things back. You do bad things, guess what? Karma's coming after that ass. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come 2 weeks from now. You better hope that she come tomorrow, because if she hasn't come in 2 weeks, she's gonna come back and collect, because life's gonna hit you hard. So when next time you see somebody, even of our own ethnicity, having issues and having problems, and they reached out for a hand to be like, hey, could you help me out? And you just say, I'm just mind my own business. Remember, it's going to eventually be you sitting there asking for a handout, probably to that same exact person. And they're going to remember when you told them no. But any last words on this before we jump into the Sharon Osbourne story?
I want to talk about that. I'm kind of intrigued on that.
Yeah. So me and Mel, we crushed that topic. So that's something that opens it up for another.
And that goes to all the Asians, the Mexicans, everybody else.
Everybody.
The human race. Stand up when you see anybody getting dogged. I don't care what color they are. If I saw a white boy, 10 white boys jumping one white boy, I want to do the same thing too. Like what the heck is going on? I don't. It obviously, is the idea of violence that's my biggest crux. How we resort to violence so easy. That's one. The other one is the idea of racism. There's two different things that merge together, and we lose the dialogue of violence within everything that we talk. Because if it's black on black crime, they want to talk about it so fast, but nobody wants to talk about the violence part of the fact that all this racial things going on. America is a violent country. We continue to be violent because we breed violence. Everything we do, every intervention is with violence. We low key the number one country in the world in violence, not in education, not in healthcare, not in anything, but in violence.
Yeah.
Oh, we about that life. We got them hands.
So I digress. So let's go to Sharon.
Yeah. So
Karen.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just mentioning. So let's get to this Nick story. About Sharon Osbourne. Now, so basically, for anybody who did not seen what happened to our good friend Piers Morgan, dickhead. All right. Let's start from the top. So everybody know Meghan Markle. I think I actually talked about it for a little bit. Meghan Markle. She is the wife of Harry, who is part of the royal family. And Piers Morgan actually took Meghan Markle on a date. I guess that date wasn't going too well because she ended up going to another event where she actually met Harry. And she basically ditched Morgan. I probably messed up the whole entire story. But basically, she went to Harry, and like they say, the rest is history. And she basically just didn't contact him back. I guess he tried to text her like, yo, what's good? How you doing? She never answered him. So she basically cut ties with him. and he has this show called the Great Good Morning Britain. Yeah, had Good Morning Great Britain, like here, like Good Morning America, Good Morning New York. You know, the syndicates all over the place. So I don't want to go over that. So he had a show. So every chance he got, just like any guy who got screwed over by a female, you tried to find ways to get her back. So any chance he got when a story came up with Meghan Markle, he always found a way to trash her and Harry. Where even when it became racial.
Why are you so salty though?
So yeah, basically. So now it comes to this where Meghan Markle, she actually opened up on the Oprah Winfrey show about how the royal family was worried about the race of their baby, about how dark the baby was going to be, which actually had Harry like, yo, what the hell? I thought y'all was my family, to Meghan Markle almost contemplating suicide.
Oh no.
And this dude had so much to say about that. And so he got roasted. He got drugged through the coals as he deserved to get drugged. One of his co-stars, I wish I remember his co-star's name. I wish I could put the video up on here, but I risk getting in trouble, and I don't want to have that to happen.
Why would you get into a video? Anyway, no, go ahead.
Yeah, you already know. Me and Beast, we already know the copyrights and all that stuff. But so one of his panelists came at him for that. And I think he was the weatherman. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. The weatherman came at him. And
how you get checked by the weatherman?
And told him, he said, basically, you always come at Meghan Markle because she ditched your ass. She got with somebody a lot better. And also, he put the royal family on blast too. He said, don't sit there and think that the royal family don't have racist ties. And also, you have to understand, when you sit there, you tell definitely a woman who is having a baby, and you say something to her or put her through anything like that, hell yeah. You know, what they call it, postpartum or something like that. They go through a lot after having the baby, or even just complications of having the baby. So for him to just come at her like that, I'm happy that the weatherman came at him. And I could be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I don't watch Good Morning Britain, but that's what I saw. So he came at him, burned the receipts. He drugged Piers Morgan on his own show, and at the same time, he checked the royal family. He said, "Royal family always been racist." Like, what were you thinking?
The royal family.
I mean, you sit there saying that she should apologize, and Prince Harry should apologize, rather than taking the criticism, or at least having a rebuttal. This dude gets up and walks away in the middle of the dude spitting facts at him. Now he's spitting facts, spitting the truth at him. He walks out and he leaves.
His own show?
His own show.
Because he's salty and thirsty.
Which later, he just gets off. He basically like, I'm not coming back. I'm cutting my ties. And the studio that was producing his shows obliged. They didn't even like beg him to come back. Like, man, come back to this show, man. We pay you extra £250. Nope. It was like, yep, we happily agree. Goodbye. Never know. The weatherman probably gonna be a new host. Who knows? But which leads to Sharon Osbourne, who is his best friend. And so she defended him for all the things that he said. So it was addressed on the show. And rightfully so. I mean, if I'm a friend with, let's say Mayo is very controversial. Let's say Mayo.
I am. That's what's funny about
it. Yeah. Let's say, like really, really controversial. I'm talking like Tariq Nasheed type controversial. And he just happens to walk off a show. And me and him are great friends. And I come on this show and I got beats, and you know how Teach is, which Teach will be returned on Monday, by the way.
Nice.
They gonna come at me, and I had to prepare for that. But how Sharon how Sharon went about it, putting herself as a victim, and then, but see, not going to.
Oh, I said she put herself as a victim.
Yeah, huh?
I mean, that's the go-to.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. They said she put herself as a victim.
Yeah, she played because she was
some racist comments. She said some racist shit, and it's now coming to light.
Yeah, because she supported everything that Morgan said about Meghan Markle. That you can basically say that it was racist. But he was. He said,
also, she didn't believe that Meghan Markle was black. That's what it was.
Right. Because she said that.
She didn't believe she was because she doesn't look black.
Because all that came.
She didn't believe Meghan Markle was black. No, she didn't.
All right. So let me give you a timeline. So basically, she agreed with everything that Piers Morgan said about Meghan Markle. Mm-hmm. And she tried to play victim when she defended everything that he said, rather than saying that he's my friend, but what he was saying was wrong. She never did that. So she decided to play victim. And for Cheryl Underwood, everybody know who Cheryl Underwood is. She's
cool sister.
Cheryl Underwood, yeah, very cool. Even though she's a Republican, but she's cool. But
cool.
Look at you talking about even though she's a Republican. But go ahead.
Even though she's a Republican, but she's cool. She cool.
What does it matter? She a sister. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean she's a sister, but she's a Republican. Let's keep it real. I mean, scratch is scratch. But
there you go, my black conservatives. No, ain't on them.
You know it. But anyway, so she felt disheartened because, and we all had this moment where you didn't want to believe what everybody was saying about your friend, like, yeah, watch him, he's a snake. And now what all your friends were saying about this person's that side start to come out, you're like, yo, dog, this not you. Then all of a sudden, like, no, man, what you mean this not me? What you talking about? That's what Sharon Osbourne did. Because she literally told Cheryl Underwood when she was trying to explain to her, she's like, I'm trying to ask a question as a friend. Like, I never heard anything racist come out your mouth, but how can you? I'm paraphrasing what she was asking Sharon, telling Sharon Osbourne. But I was expecting more out my friend on why she would agree with racist comments from Piers Morgan. But rather than understanding where Cheryl Underwood was coming from, she played victim and telling her, don't you cry. I should be the one that should be crying because now I got to tell people that I'm not a racist and all this stuff. Piers Morgan is my best friend. We know he's your best friend.
Yeah. Cheryl Underwood on the same morning show as them?
Yeah, The Talk.
Mm-hmm. I thought this was like a morning show in England.
No.
Okay,
Piers Morgan.
Two different shows.
Two different shows. So yeah. Piers Morgan is on the great. He's on the Great Morning, and Sharon Osbourne is on The Talk. Yeah, so she's on The Talk. Cheryl Underwood was trying to ask the questions to her, and not understanding why would she accept and defend her good friend Piers Morgan with the racist comments that he was making about Meghan Markle. And she was surprised by the reaction that Sharon Osbourne was giving her. Everybody know that old saying, wherever a person, how they act, believe them. She was surprised that this racist side came out of her. That you're going to sit there and going to defend her, and not to mention you trying to play victim. And I just looked at Cheryl Underwood, because I'm not a big Talk fan. I'd rather watch The View more than The Talk. And I barely even watch The View, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah, same here.
But Cheryl Underwood, just a look on her face, I knew she wanted to be like, who you think you're talking to? I saw in the depths of her soul. But she knew if she would have said something like that, then it would have flipped on her, and it would have made the story about her being the angry black woman. Which is sad,
and I'm glad you said that part, because I hope we come back to that part. You can keep going, because I mean it's something how stories change so frequently and so fast in American culture, and how it becomes all about how we demonize people so fast. I mean, I don't care how, I mean, first of all, I don't know what these people are saying. I hope they're not saying that, oh yeah, man, it'll be horrible and tragic if the baby is black and it's a royal baby. I hope they're not saying that as well. Kind of like whatever the Queen and folks said, which I really hate to give them like all kind of. I don't like, like who gives a fuck about the royal canon? I mean, that's where I feel like I mean,
to our UK
like,
brothers and sisters out there, this is from us from over here over the pond. Okay, just making notes.
Right, and I'm speaking for a lot of them that probably can't sit. I'm speaking for a lot of them that probably can't sit because they probably know it's an antiquated system and it probably needs to be jettisoned, but they can't say it because they probably will get locked up or some kind of bullshit. All I'm saying is they like fuck that shit. Who are they? They like they get born into some kind of system and and like under the royalty. And we're all human beings. You know what I mean? That's why we have democracy today. Something that everybody can serve. It can serve everybody. And everybody will be respected regardless of who their dad and mom is. Everybody will work hard for what they got.
Right.
But anyway, so back to the idea of the fact that the Queen and the dummies are saying like, oh, the baby is if they were black. That's the part that I think is offensive. If somebody like Piers Morgan is hating because he used to date the sister that don't like dating brothers, I'm not about to rush out there and go like, oh, that's a sister that only dates white dudes. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, whatever. No,
and then also another. Yeah,
I said Piers used to date her, right? That's what you said.
No, he never did. He was basically trying to get.
He tried.
He tried.
Like it is. But then also the first date, it was unsuccessful, and now he's.
And then she. Yeah,
the date was successful, but he was unsuccessful.
But then at the same, I think it was at the same time where she went to another party and she met Harry, and then the rest is history. But also, what also got Piers Morgan in hot water was that he was defending the crown. He was sitting there saying, "Well, the Queen but not racist because they was asking for the color of the baby," and said that you should respect the hierarchy, basically. And I'm like, well, what? Like, dude, like for real? The Queen literally, or whoever, was sitting there saying that, I hope the baby's not dark. Hope babies don't turn into a darkie. Basically. But going on to what I was also saying.
You know what? To anybody that had the nerve to speak, because this is one thing I learned about when it comes to pregnancies. One or two things gonna happen. If the pregnant woman got a lot of hatred or strong emotions towards specific individuals, that baby gonna come out like that. And then there's also when you just talk a whole bunch of dumb shit and try to put a whole lot of negativity on that pregnancy, God has a way of pissing on your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and so
like the racist grandmas that get beautiful, beautiful biracial babies. She's like so goddamn beautiful, you forget they daddy black.
Mm-hmm. And then also that's when they have that epiphany, like, damn, was I that bad for racist? Like, oh my bad, baby, I'm sorry.
So what I'm trying to get out of all this, and this is I'm gonna punt my perspective real quick so y'all can get it. I don't have no problem with what's the name? Whatever, Osborne. I don't.
Sharon Osbourne. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what they said like to the full content, but from what I'm hearing so far, if they're not the ones that said, "Oh, damn, that baby gonna be black," that's the part that I have an issue with. Anybody who defends those people, I'm afraid about how America is. Like, no, like you can't say anything good about anybody that's anybody that the popular culture says is wrong. Anytime you try to say anything good about them, everybody jumps on you. So it's more like almost like we're in a bully rod. And I don't like that bully culture. I just don't like the bully culture we're in. That's the culture that we're in. Like if you say anything good about a Republican, you get bullied. If you say anything about, it's like calm down. People,
I will agree with you. I will agree with you to that point that it is a lot of like intimidation. Yeah. It's also a trickle down effect. So it's like when one person fuck up, anybody in the immediate aftermath, like if I get publicly put in the news for some shit,
what?
in the immediate aftermath of
like, we better not say anything good about you. We better not say anything good about you. They're gonna jump on us.
Exactly. Just no comment whatsoever. No comment whatsoever. Because the issue comes in on the racist tip. He made a whole bunch of racist comments and acted in racially motivated ignorance on top of the Queen and the Queen's administration and the Queen's hierarchy, making those questions pertaining to the child's skin tone. For her to make a public statement saying that that's my best friend. Women know when they hear another woman say, that's my best friend. So regardless of how fucked up she is, I'm gonna ride or die. So you hear that, you was like, okay. So you agree or enable that to a slightly high percentage, more than we're comfortable with. Regardless of if you really believe it or not, like I said, you either believe it or you're enabling it. So for you to publicly put yourself out there in the immediate aftermath of this and not have a legitimate statement, because like Donnell says, once you give your opinion, you put it on Front Street and you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. And then on top of that, with her, she's made a lot of statements prior that have been questionable. She's had sensitive altercations with people of the Black race, in case of Raven. Mm-hmm. Coupled all that shit together publicly, that's enough public concerns to make you look like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be fucking with you much longer.
Yeah, right. But with the premise before all that, I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree wholeheartedly because, you are, regardless, you are the company you keep.
Agreed.
Period.
Well, that's pretty much one thing.
So it's more than
I don't
just.
I got company anyway.
Yeah, but see, I'm like this. I'm person everybody too. But then also are.
I got you on this. It goes to your personality, how you carry yourself. We all have friends of a varied cultures and statuses, but we ourselves are varied in our own upbringing in itself. So, like I said, the company you keep, we have a varied and eclectic perspective on life. So it's only right that the people we gravitate towards in life or keep centered around our life have the same energy. So I agree with Donnell. If you got that type of energy, like that's her best friend. That's what she said, right?
Right.
And he out there throwing that energy out there. So
right. So here's my thing too. I was always known in high school as a floater. I've been like that all my life. I have friends that are conservative. I have friends that are liberal. I have friends that are progressive. I got friends that are libertarian. I mean, I got friends that are gothic. I got jock friends, rich friends, rapper friends. So I consider myself a floater. But then when it's getting hot, like I actually had a friend of mine who had a friend that always got in trouble. And for some reason, he always get dragged into it. And it wasn't more like, yo, that's my dog. It was more like, dog. Like, when the shit hits the fan, yes, you getting all the shit thrown at you, but I'm getting it on my shoulder too. They're looking at me because every time they see you, they see me. And so when, let's say, if I was chilling with one of my Republican friends, and let's say they said some very crazy shit, and they know that I'm a friend of his, I'm gonna say, yes, he's my friend, but I don't agree with what he is saying. I'm gonna stand on my morals as much as he's gonna stand on his. But what he said is out of line, and that's it. I'm not gonna drag him or her about it. I'm just gonna say I disagree, and that's when you take them behind closed doors and be like, yo, dog, we can't continue this if you're going to continue saying these shit. I'm not sitting there saying you should change your position. I'm not saying that. But watch how you say it, because when you say things like that, they're gonna associate me with it because we cool. If you're gonna sit there and say all these things about girls, and since they want to do abortions, that they all sinners and that they need to stop being sluts and all that stuff, they gonna think that I am agreeing with you because you cool with me. So I don't criticize people when they sit there and when they associate themselves with that and people come at them. That's when what Sharon Osbourne should have done, she should have said, look, I feel sorry for my friend. I feel so sorry for him, but I disagree with what he was saying. He should never have said it, but he has a platform that he can say whatever he wants. If she would have said it like that, none of this mess wouldn't be happening. Whatever she done behind closed doors with Piers Morgan, she could have just said that just so that she can, number one, have a job. Number two, could be still, people will still see her in that light. And then maybe number three, she could go behind closed doors like, dude, don't put me in that situation. I agree with you, dog. I agree. But when you sit there, you say those things, you put me, you, or how everybody would say, you messing with my money. You messing with what put the food on my table. Right, but it is. So, but let's take the money part out of it. So if you was
a job, it should have been a job. I mean, like,
yeah, but I mean, but it's going on. If you associate with somebody and they fuck up, they gonna think automatically like, oh shit, what about Mayo? Mayo, that's his dog. And you like, yo, what the fuck? And now all of a sudden you lose this endorsement deal, you lose that endorsement deal.
But
now you're about to lose your show.
That's the point of what I think is wrong with our society.
Right. And I agree, and I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
We're so quick to want to jump on everybody.
Right. And it shouldn't even be like that, but that's how it is. So that's why. So, like I said, I would be a real man about it. If everybody knows me, I'll be a real man about it. If I'm caught in some issues or caught in some troubles, caught in some problems, guess who I'm calling? I'm calling all y'all like, yo, hey, y'all, I got tangled, knock on wood, I got tangled up in the something. I don't want y'all to be involved. So y'all just say what y'all have to say, and we just keep everything else to ourselves. I'll let y'all know ahead of time. So y'all be like, well, damn, well, Morris, he has some action over there in freaking Seattle. What y'all got to say about that? Look, we support Morris and whatever he does. We are in constant communication. We love you, but he should have known better. And keep it pushing. And keep it honest. I mean, just being honest, but at least let me know ahead of time, or let me know about it in real time behind closed doors. So this is where Sharon Osbourne messed up, where she just played victim. You shouldn't play victim. I don't want Mayo to play victim on behalf of me. I don't want Beast to play victim on behalf of me. And I think Beast and I think Mayo will agree. I shouldn't have to play victim to y'all when y'all get into trouble.
See, but this is the problem I have. I do believe, not a lot, but maybe like there's a fraction of white folks who are afraid to speak their minds today because of the way things are today. What I'm saying is that the way, and I'll say y'all, not because I think you two, but the way most other folks who are black, stop, whatever. Other folks who are not the city, I think y'all, but I'm saying the way, folks who are not me. I mean, like, who at least who don't see it the way because I'm the kind of like kumbaya type dude. I want to make sure that, I believe that everybody has a chance to think of the craziness they want to think and still be able to be a good person. Everybody that thinks that, that every white person out there that has prejudice is not a bad person, because we black people have our own prejudice. It's when they act on their prejudice and treat us bad, that's when I come out and be like, oh, that's an asshole right there. Get do something. Let's do something about that, And it's not every time that we gotta pull up, oh, you gotta fire them, you gotta do this. It's not, because we're doing all this, we're pushing people into a corner. It doesn't do anything. You don't change minds like that. You don't change minds like, like, oh, you got, because they don't think they're wrong. Because there's a mob of the popular culture saying things at the time. And the same popular culture half of them will be the one that will do the poll 2 years from now and be like, oh yeah, black folks, I don't trust them. The same mob that said they want Obama to be in office in 2008, the same mob is the one that said they don't trust black people. And we thought, oh, because Obama was in office 8 years, maybe America has become better. That same mob got up last year and was pissed off at George Floyd being stepped on. Oh man, you got Nancy Pelosi throwing the fist, sending in all the comment. Then this same mob, because I saw this thing I told you on another network. I was telling you last show about this brother that did the statistics, did research, and the poll number has changed just drastically and dramatically within. And it says America, but he was saying how he believes most white folks are the ones that are doing the polls. The black folks don't poll. That's what he was saying. But regardless of who polls or who don't poll, but the same numbers has changed there. How people believe there's racism in America. There is, that things are overblown. That number is now they had the newest research, and the research is now saying that most of them feel like it's not as bad as people are making it seem like. So it's like they're fair with the fans, and this same mob is the one that's throwing people under the bus every day when they do something. Oh, who said what? Oh, throw him under the bus. Who said what? Oh, throw her. I mean, it's like, hold on, you're not changing minds like that. We're not having discussions about if they say they think that the baby's gonna be tainted. Let's have the discussion, opposed to burn them down, get them down. Because at the end of the day, you're not changing their mind.
Big example.
Because you punish, you're not changing their mind. You've not solved nothing. All you've done is just piss them off more and back them into a corner more. Like Drew Brees and stuff. I bet he retired this year because of what he said last year. All the year. I mean, you think in the heart of his heart. You think you've actually changed his racist heart? You think anybody has actually done that? No. He's just saying all those things so he can keep his popularity going. But in his heart of heart, it's like I'm always vote for anybody who don't like this other mindset. I'm not. My point is just like, let's have a room where people have the right to think. When we get to the point where people don't have the right to think no more, it's like we live in the fascism world and we live in a dictator of what's popular. Because black is popular today, they could turn that against us anytime in the future.
Yeah,
and then at some point, we just follow everything that's popular. I don't want to follow what's I want to follow what's right. Let's have a discussion about this thing.
Right, but also you also got to look at the fact of when is the right time and the right place to say things. I mean, because
me personally, I'm a fan of say it right then and there. The minute you need the earlier you address it, the quicker you can come to a resolution or a solution. And the quicker you can move the fuck on from it.
Right, but then also realize that you are going to get the criticism, that you got to be prepared for that. Still, when you say things, remember, when you put out there on Jump Street, you just can't be like, oh, this is my thought.
It should not be about punishment. It should not be about punishment. It should be about resolution.
But that's the thing, because then you're gonna have everybody gonna say anything now. Everybody gonna say everything now. But see, the thing is, like I used this example one time before. Like I just had Coca-Cola here. I could go out, I could put on Facebook, Coca-Cola is the shit. And you will have people half the people agreeing with it, and then you're gonna have people that disagree with it. You could probably gonna be like, well, yeah, you're right. Coca-Cola is the shit because that's what it tastes like. And you got people that sit there and say, well, I like Sam's choice better. So you have to watch when you say these things and take what you're going to get. So we just can't sit there and say that, well, I just want to say how I feel and not accept the consequence that comes with it. I mean, yes, it should be a discussion, but then also it's on you to understand that not a lot of people are going to understand what you're saying. So I'm not going to sit there and because remember, once again, guess what else is under the First Amendment too? Hate speech. So now we got to talk to them too. So now while you saying, well, we should say anything and nobody don't say nothing about it, you got this KKK member over here sitting there saying, okay, or white supremacists over there, okay, I can say nigga whatever time I want to because y'all say it. Remember, when you open up the door, when you open that, well, not open the door, we open up Pandora's box. Guess what? Everything's gonna come on out. Everything. And you know what they say about Pandora's box? Can't shut it. So when we go off and we sit there and say that, well, everybody should have the freedom to say whatever they want, that's fine with me.
Yeah,
that is
reason.
Fine. Right.
Respectable
that's,
reason.
Right. That's fine with me. All I'm saying is you're going to deserve, it's like the Apollo. Just because you a little kid and you got going out there and you're going to sing, you got every right to do that. You can't get mad by the reaction that the people are going to give you. Not everybody's going to love it.
Doing.
Right. So you can get one or two things going to happen. You have a standing ovation after your performance, or people going to boo you out the freaking Apollo. So, like I said, everybody got the freedom of speech. But the issue
I'm asking
is
for a little more tolerance for everybody.
Right.
I would never step.
I agree with you on that point.
No, I feel like that tolerance never comes from individuality.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point. But
you can't say reality. Well, you can't say you agree and say the reality of if somebody says something. Hear me out. You can't say if somebody says something that they should expect to be punished all the time. If they, then you saying that you because what it is, what we call our reality. If we allow it to keep going and don't change our reality, then we make that of a reality. The fact that people are being punished for everything they say, and we say, "Oh yeah, everybody who's getting punished."
This is where the time and place come for everything. Time and place.
But I'm saying
you got to expect that. You got to.
But there still should be intellectual tolerance to have discussions.
But see, that's where
and consideration.
But see, this is also what I say when you put yourself out there on Jump Street, you deserve everything that you
get. Why put yourself out there because you share your thought process?
But see, here's the thing that can solve all that. What you're saying. This is why we have this. This is when you get around your group of your friends that understands where you're coming from. You just can't go out there and just say whatever you want and then expect when people disagree with it. And now that's what's wrong with the world today.
But you're not listening to what I'm saying. Two things. One, Pierce thinks he's among his group of friends. He's in white America, predominantly white America. So he thinks he's among them. They just have turned on him because what he's saying is not popular right now. But in some years ago, like maybe not too long, it was popular, and it could be popular again because what we as much as we follow what's popular culture, what they're talking about could be. I mean, I'm not saying it's popular with us because it would be the one that would be on the end of it. What I'm saying is that there was a time when everything that they're doing right now was popular. So I mean, so all I'm saying is that one, he thought he was amongst a group of friends. Two, the idea that he's sharing it, his own mindset. And the first thing we think about is, let's dump him, let's do this. It's like, why don't we even at least try to attempt to talk to him and then see if he can understand how dumb he sounds, and opposed to be when you push pressure on people like that, you back them into a corner, and they might act like they are following you now, but in their own internal self, they're not following you because you pushed back them in the corner. You've not reasoned with them of why they need to change, and it's not working. It's not working. I'm just saying it's not working.
But I can rebut you. I can rebut you and say, what happened with Dr. King when he said what he needed to say? Half of people agree with him. Other people didn't agree with him. He was most hated. I mean, he was the most hated man in America. Like I said, I can rebut you with that. So, but then eventually, guess what? When the Civil Rights Bill was eventually passed, and everything came to pass, people was like, oh shit, Dr. King was right the whole entire time.
Oh, because of the bill? Everybody said it because of the bill?
Well, no. I'm not saying because it's all the bill, but
if you want King got killed, and they're looking at a president being killed, if you want all that stuff, that's all the stuff that got into. Johnson was a racist asshole.
Yeah, but we all knew that Johnson was a racist asshole. But I'm saying is even for Dr. King, he got that same scrutiny too, even though he was on the right side of history. Well, but in this case here, when you're saying that people should have the right to say things and not get scrutinized about it, this is why you get around your group of friends that actually do give a damn about you or actually do a presentation.
This goes back to decorum and etiquette. The aristocrats had it set up so beautiful. When in public, you act in a dignified manner, respectable manner, no matter your class. once you are behind closed doors amongst like-minded individuals, like Donnell says, then you can do what you see with me. Let your hair down.
Right.
But you guys just totally missed my point. If you do that, at that point we will never find out what's in his heart and his mind.
Now, I understand your point on that, though. I do.
We're not solving nothing.
Here's the thing.
It's like being petty and shit. You know, like, oh, they said that. Go get him.
This whole Pierce situation is something that could have easily been avoided if he just shut his fucking mouth.
But that would have not solved everything. I'm glad he spoke his mind. And I wish that we could have had a town hall meeting around him or some shit, or like a debate session with him, or something, or something where we can share thoughts and ideas. And other people that think like him,
and that goes back to what Donnell said. Though, no, once you put it out there on Front Street, you got to deal with the good and bad.
No, so you're not hearing what I'm saying.
Individuals like you, it's like, yeah, it needs to happen for the dialogue.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying the dialogue is what fixes stuff, actually fixes things, and opposed to just dumping him and punishing him and all that stuff. It's like we're back in gladiator world. Like, oh, who did what? You defied the king. I get him.
Go ahead, Beast.
My thing is when you out here, you have no justified reason to speak on these things. So you're doing it from a personal standpoint. So no matter how you going in with your feelings, and you are not in an environment where your feelings will be taken as that your feelings. No, they will be taken as your opinions, your actual thoughts and views. So when you in situations like that, it's best to just keep those feelings to yourself. Because once you put them out there and they are taken under the microscope, now you have to deflect and prove
deflect.
that you weren't in your feelings, but you was under some kind of logical ration behind you calling a basketball team of black females nappy-headed hoes.
Now,
right.
I
remember that one.
Yeah. But see, but in Piers Morgan's case, in this case, I don't want him to be out of job. Honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not counseling him at all. He deserves all the scrutiny that he's getting. If he if he gets another show, he probably will. Fox News probably going to pick him up. That's fine. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's not the first or the last person that put his foot in his mouth, because it seemed like when people do the things that he does, you're going to get another job, probably get paid 10 times more, probably going to have much more control over that show. So by all means, I'm not trying to counsel him or trying to throw him off the face of the earth, because backing him in the corner, that's not even backing him in the corner. He's basically just sitting there like, hey, he probably just sitting there in the corner like, okay, y'all can give me all you want, but I'm guaranteeing you, I'm going to have another job soon, paying me a lot more. And I guarantee you, I give it about middle of April, he's going to have a brand new job. I promise you. He's either going to be on Fox. He's probably going to be on.
He'll have a podcast.
A famous podcast.
A Fox centered or a strong news centered affiliate will give him a podcast.
Because as we seeing, going with Mel was saying about how culture is now and how people are today, the new controversial, I put you like this: the controversial you get, the more opportunity it creates.
I don't know about that, but
it's a new way of making money. Look at Tommy Lauren when she made those viral videos. You don't know Tommy Lauren? She's a blonde haired chick that was making famous.
She's a younger, prettier. Ann Coulter,
right?
Oh, really? Mouth just
yeah. Let's use Ann Coulter, because she's the start of this too. She's the one that actually made it famous. She made this famous. Ann Coulter with her crazy analogies and all that stuff. Look where she at now. Book tours. She don't have her own show, but she contribute to the shows that have her same ideology. making millions, making bank, making all sorts of money. Look at let me see. I'm gonna put Tariq Nasheed out there too. He makes some controversial stuff like with Hidden Colors. Look at where he's at. He already had book deals even before Hidden Colors, but he's making lots of money off that too. He gonna sit off that for the rest of the life. Yeah, Hidden Colors. Yep, his documentaries. His documentaries of showing like history that we have not heard about us Black folks. So he's gonna eat off that for the rest of his life. But he's a controversial figure as well. If you have some controversy, just because you lost that job,
bro, I'm not worried about. I'm not sitting here worried about because he lost the job. I'm saying the fact that our response is always like a jab back, and it's almost like the violence thing again. It's like we've left the world where we thought to sit and talk about things and use our mind to sharpen each other. And we are at the point where it's a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, go get him, You know, and it's not like go get him because they've done something super egregious. It's just like, you know, like we want to watch somebody burn. Like, go get him. And somebody, go get him. And somebody, anybody famous, like anybody famous, we want to see him drop so fast because and each one of us have things that none of us are perfect, first of all. And because somebody has an opinion about something somebody else did, is not the reason we should. So we throw the stone so fast. We quick to grab the stone. Like, you know, and we wait for the next one to say something. But I'm like, what the heck?
I got a question for all you just said. Is it the people's fault, or is it the person that made that comment's fault? Think about it.
Anybody should be able to make a comment. I could say something ignorant here today, but I'm hold on. I could say anything ignorant here today, and I know, and you know, anybody who knows me should know that I'm a good person at heart. That I live by, you know. If I hung around Piers Morgan, I could probably tell you, you know, I don't know if he's a good or a bad person. You know, it's all about how much time you spend with that person. The majority of them, is it good or bad? When people do one thing or they think one way and they say one thing out of what they're thinking, and we jump on them, we end up all the assholes at the end of the day. Because, you know,
how are we assholes? How?
Because we all got something that we do in our lives that's not proper, and they make one mistake, and the first thing we do is jump on them. It's just it's that mob mentality. Just calm down.
I think that's taking it a little bit much. Because if I say something stupid like, man, I should go over there and, you know, I'm so broke, man, I feel like robbing the bank. I expect y'all to say that's stupid. I expect y'all to say that's a bad idea. I know you're not gonna let that ride.
Do you expect us to now deem you a bad person?
No, it's not saying that you're a bad person, but you're saying is that people should just be like cool with like the comments that you said without any controversy.
You know, he said that
I expect y'all to jump on me if I say something. Just insensitive.
Jump on you to have a conversation with you.
And so it shouldn't even be a conversation.
But
I just use the example of.
No,
I'm using the example of saying I'm so broke. Yeah. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna rob a bank. I expect Beast to be like, yo, that's the most dumbest, stupid ass comment I have ever heard. You should jump on me. You should be like, that is stupid, that is dumb, that's ignorant. Now, if I say something like, you know, now I say this amongst us, not people, but just amongst us. Let's go ahead and just not generalize everybody. Let's just say we amongst a group of our friends. And I just say, you know what? I'm in the mood for Domino's. But y'all like Pizza Hut. You may like Papa John's, but we definitely not have no freaking Domino's. Then we can have a discussion. Then we can be like, you know.
We can have a discussion about everything, bro.
I won't, not everything. Because not everything, because if somebody says something that's so insensitive, that is so dumb, that is not even left field, that is just like, yo, what made you think that? Yes, you should jump on that person and be like, yo, how can you think that dumb stupid? If they feel bad and not to take the criticism, and you talking to somebody who don't like constructive criticism, but I had to sit there and I had to freaking take it like, damn, maybe they were right. And you sit there, you walk and leave. It's kind of funny. It's ironic because Piers Morgan couldn't take the criticism that he was given, that talking that advice, like you were saying, tell him that advice. He walked up and he left. So if I get up and I leave after we're having this conversation than where we got to.
I get that.
So that's the part that we also not talking about, because Piers Morgan got up with saying your logic when the guy was just telling them all the things that he was saying about Meghan Markle, saying all these things about her that was not borderline, but racist. He didn't yell at him. He didn't call him a racist. He said, you made some racist comments on this show. Every time you tried to stick it with her because she ditched you. He was telling him these things. Conversation. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't screaming. He was saying nothing but truth. This is your logic. But he was using your logic, telling him what he was doing. And what did he do? He got up. He left. I didn't see a man that was trapped in the corner. He was basically telling him, this is what you said. And he had every right, because nobody else jumped in. Everybody at that panel, if you watch that video, everybody at that panel was just sitting back there listening. It was just him telling them that. He could have came back and could have just said, could have came back with any point that he wanted to and told him the reason why he said the things and said how he felt about it. But he didn't. He walked away. So it's not only just people just being put in the corner just because everybody didn't like what he or she said. You got people that just don't even want to hear from one person. And it could be just that one person saying something that what everybody feels. Everybody had that time where if you were in a team setting that you are doing this with the team, you're not coming in on time, you're not contributing to any of our projects or plans, you're definitely lazy. I mean, all these things. Not everybody's going to come at them. It's going to be that one person. 9 times out of 10, it's the team leader that's going to come at him. Or if there's not a leader, somebody's going to be the one that's going to speak for the group. Like, hey, man, let's have a powwow real quick. Hey, we've been realizing that you have not been contributing. You have not been doing this. You have not been doing that. And instantly that one person's going to be like, oh, my gosh, y'all going to come at me like that? I come here. I'm part of the team. Like, no, dude, this is what everybody is saying. So what do you say about a person like that who can't take the criticism, feel like they putting in the corner, but the group is saying nothing but the truth? You're lazy.
Don't put yourself out
you
there
don't
in
come in.
position.
Yeah, you don't come in on time. So
I got 4 quick points. Then we got it's we almost.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, we got to cut up. But go ahead.
So one is that yes, I did not count the coward move of Piers Morgan getting up, but obviously he felt pressured enough that he got up. He's embarrassed, by the fact that a guest on the show is calling him out something that he probably knew that was wrong, but he never thought about the fact that he's on the wrong side and he's being caught up. He's catching up to his wrong mindset online. So the fact that he walked off and all that stuff, he's probably embarrassed or whatever. That's my most guess to all this. I'm talking about us as a people. What happened on the show? I really, to be honest with you, all this kind of stuff is like the most like mundane things to me in my life. So I don't. But of course, we're
this type of shit that people like to see.
Right. Well, absolutely. So, and then that's what's sad. That's another part of another sad thing. But it's a whole different conversation. I'm saying our lives, our generations are turned into just liking to see people fall. That's number one. That's why and people like to see people fall from grace, And number two, people like to stone. People are so quick to want to pick up the stone. And my thing is again like this guy, Piers Morgan. Yes, he has all this mindset that supports the Queen. The Queen ain't getting as much heat as much as the guy that try to justify what the Queen has done. I mean, and I'm like, because so my thinking is if all y'all feel this way, how many of y'all talking to England about the racism that they're doing as a country, as a nation, all the way to right now? England is receiving type. They're receiving taxes from nation that they colonized, including nation that most of us come from. But us, this same folks are we're picking little kids fight about who said what to who and get rid of him. Oh, they and it's like you sound so not you, but I look at us. I'm like it's like we sound so dumb. You find out what the little thing or the big thing. It's like come on, man. I mean, we're not changing nothing. All we want to see is somebody fall. We got one person get the cop that killed George Floyd, but forget about police brutality. Yeah, and criminal justice reform. Let's forget about the systemic part and let's follow the one guy. And it's like we just so. And I'm not saying don't get the cop that killed him because if he killed somebody, that's a whole different. That's a whole different crime. That's a whole different crime. That's not saying something. That's doing something. But when people say things, when people say what's on their mind, one thing I wish people in my time, which obviously we don't have the nerves and the understanding to do, what I wish people in my time would do is to take the opportunity to educate, and when I say educate, not from a I know better standpoint, but to have dialogues to be like ask them questions, like what got you there? I mean, and make them come to it themselves that, dang, you kind of have a point, but without doing that and everything we want to do is attack and throw stones. That's what we do today. We want to throw stones. We want to see somebody bleed from the stone again. So say, oh, somebody's suffering. Okay, we good now. Let me go work my 9 to 5 and get $8 an hour and get mad and wait till the next person says something bad so we can stone that person down too. It's like that's what we do, and it's enough is enough. Let's try to change minds by having dialogue. Maybe our minds will change too. Nobody has everything. Nobody has the monopoly to what's the right thinking in life. That's what I'm saying. I got some prejudice that I probably had in my life that if I had mentioned to someone for somebody to think that I'm a bad person, I try to love people. So I can imagine, people that have all this prejudice that maybe mention it on their platform, and the first thing we should do is like, dang, I've always thought good about you. How you say this, Lord? Let's have a discussion. But that's not what we do. We often stone their ass, get them, and that's where we at. And that just scares me. And I really hope that we leave that mindset and we start to walk towards a mindset where we can have dialogues with each other. That's what I think makes us a better person. And I'm done. I know we talk so much tonight.
We're taking a risk. And that's really what it is. Because when I said earlier about us having safe conversations, tackling and being angry at safe topics, stuff that we know we can get away with saying. It's like being a child. I know I can get away with spilling the cup or leaving the toy out. That ain't gonna get a whole bunch of, or even better, as far as tantrums. I know I can cry. I know I can yell and stomp on the floor for about 2 good minutes and get what I need. No, that's safe. I won't get a whooping for that. I won't get embarrassed for that. And I'm just gonna stick in that realm. That's what we're doing with these topics and these situations to come up. We need to take more risks, like to get that dialogue. We need to step outside of our comfort zone and truly get mad at some shit that affects all of us. Not no piddly shit like the Pierce Morgan, Sharon Osbourne shit. Some serious shit like the Asian, like the upswing and resurgence of public Asian hate. Because it's been going on for centuries. It's just you gotta balance that. You can't hate one race continuously. It's tiring and it gets old real quick. You need true racists don't hate just one. They hate all. It keeps them vibrant and mobile. I'm gonna hate niggas for right now. I'm gonna hate niggas for on Monday, from January through March, I'm gonna hate niggas. When spring come in, that's when the beaners come out. I start hating on them damn beaners. Now once fall hit, that's when everybody want to do shopping and holidays. So I start hating on the goddamn Asians. Then fall, then winter come in. Fuck it. I hate on the sand niggers. Like that's how racists are.
Yeah, and I totally agree.
Like, have you hated one person for a full year? Like, just one person? I hate 365 days of hating one person.
Look,
it's psychologically exhausting. Like, you gotta hate somebody else. Like, just a random person. Like, did this motherfucker just flip me off? Hate that ugly looking motherfucker right there.
Beast, you are like one word away from us agreeing to a purge, okay? Good. Right. I'm
like looking at like, what are you going
purge? Like, look. Hey, I done spoke on it before. All I'm saying is the movie I'm saying is the movie gave you the blueprint. When it happened, let's be sensible about this shit here, people. Don't go fuck up your own neighborhood, because the people you don't successfully kill, you got to deal with the next day. And that's an awkward conversation. Like 5 minutes before the horn go off, you was just trying to cut this nigga leg off. Brrr, purge's over. Now you got to spend the rest of the year looking at this nigga in the fucked up knee you gave him.
Just looking at him like, hey, like,
hey, Steve.
Like, what time is the meeting for today? Well, let's go ahead.
You need some help carrying that stuff, man. Let me help you. It's only right. It's only right I help you carry that.
And he's just looking at you like, the purge is coming up next year, right? Guess who's gonna be out?
I got something for that ass, right? I'm gonna be limping, but I got something for that ass.
Now let's go ahead and do a quick final thought. So let me go get the intro, and Mayo, you will be starting us off. And please, don't leave a little bit for me, okay? Because we went over some. Y'all leave a little something for me.
I'm gonna be real short today because my mom has she's sitting there visiting me tonight, and she been snoring.
My mom
I've been trying. Y'all probably hear me stumping this. I'm trying to wake her up because she visited me today, And I don't want her to walk through the back of the camera club. But no, I got it. So, and I'm glad she's visiting second. So, sometimes she visits me about stuff. So I'm like, I'm trying to get.
Don't embarrass me, Mom.
I'm feeling bad. I'm like, why am I, stumping, waking her up, because of my show. I'm like, I'm trying to balance. Like, is that a right thing? I'm like, well, I did tell I was on record the show. I'm telling myself.
Let's go ahead and head over to the final thought. Go ahead, Mayo. Let's go.
Hey, final thoughts. Thanks so much for joining us today. And I know my background has been changing a lot lately. I'm doing some, as much as I do work in other people's houses, I'm doing some work in my house upstairs. So I've had to move my computer around these days. So, and my lighting is not good today because of that reason, and I noticed that. So I apologize to everyone. My final thoughts would be, just like I said in the show today, to find a way to bring out the love in us more often. I don't know if y'all can read up there. It says faith, hope, and love, and and it says but the greatest of all is love, which is from Corinthians. I think verse 13. I think so. That's yep. That's 14 and 16. But that's my favorite. What's called scripture in the Bible. So because it talks about love and all the things love should be and what it should not be, and we want people to love us. Obviously, we have people that hate us a lot, but we need to find a way to cure hate with love. And that's where we should all be at. I think that we need to remind ourselves that no one is perfect. And when people are caught in situations when they have done wrong or thought wrong, we need to find them the least punishable method to reach them, but the most intelligence and thought-provoking method to reach their minds and hearts to see if they can see what they've done and to see what hate looks like. And that's why I think most people get punished so they can see the reverse of the hate that they've put on somebody or what they've said to somebody. But again, I just think that if we use love to be the compass of our actions after somebody has said something or do something, when we need to always distinguish between the two. We have to find a way to distinguish between what people say, because it's just an expression, a verbal expression of what's in their mind, in opposed to a physical expression. So, and the fact that we are punishing people today is in the sense of verbally expressing what's in their mind compared to physical, punishing them so harsh. We just need to look into that. I don't want to. I know we talked a lot on the show about if it's too harsh or not, where they getting punished. I think it's too harsh, and I just think that we need to. The way we can know if it's harsh or not, maybe we can help ourselves know, is ask ourselves, Is our response coming out of love? Is our response coming out of love? If it's not, let's recalibrate our responses or how we respond to things and find a way to love each other because that's all we want at the end of the day is we want love to come back to us. With that being said, I love everybody listening to this today and look forward to seeing you guys again.
Everybody love everybody. So simple. You ain't gotta respect them or even like them. Just love them for being a fucking human. That's it. Especially in this time of age, man. You, there's no reason to hate nobody because of their race or what you think their race might be because everybody mixed with some shit now. So those of us that still are visually defined by our racial status, we all need to stick together no matter what race, because that hate is real and it's coming for all of us. But it's only excused when it's white on white crime or white people involved, then it's a case of mental issue. Nonetheless, we still out here getting killed for no fucking reason. So we gotta accept each other, all the deficits, all the benefits, and go into this thing with the greatest amount of faith and cooperation. We've seen in the history that the Asian folk have always had our back. I mean, they just lost their way. We've lost our way. And we gotta get back to it and build back from it. So everybody love everybody, especially if you're trying to make it to the next day. Now you're at the floor.
Look here. Can y'all just let me just I ain't even got the toilet paper here for the freaking just wipe my tears and everything, but no, I can't even do that, man. All right, for real though. My final thought is, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Real Chairboy Popcorn, as well as Sky Soul Society. Also for the panel as well. The debate that me and Mayo was having. That's how debates with our people should go. We may have a difference of ideas, but damn it, we're going to get to solutions. Because you didn't hear us call each other's names. Well, call them out names. We didn't say that the idea was stupid. We didn't even say, like, why are you talking? What will you know about that? You ain't heard nothing like that. That's what you call respect. Where you respect somebody's ideals, opinions, thoughts, their truths. Now, I'm not saying that you should agree with it all the time. I'm not saying that. But respect where they're coming from. I always want to jump on their side of the tracks and see and understand what makes them think and what makes them tick. But I expect that from the other person too as well to understand where I'm coming from. Now, just because they're on my side of the track doesn't mean I'm going to change their mind. The goal is not to change their mind. The goal is to understand where they or where myself is coming from. And that we can meet in the middle of the train tracks, no matter what our side is, that we make it to a solution where it benefits everybody. These are the type of discussions that you're going to see on this show. You know, me and him both agree with the ADOS and the fundamental, the Black fundamental, whatever that group Tariq Nasheed's trying to start. These are how discussions we should have, and what it should look like when it comes to our people. Always come to solutions, never disrespecting each other, and hearing each other. No, not even hearing each other out, listening to each other all the way through. As you can see that both me and Mayo gave each other, including sometimes with Beast, we gave each other time to speak. Did we interrupt a couple of times? Yeah, a couple of times, but majority of the time we gave each other time to talk, to voice our objections or to voice our ideals. I'm trying to get away from opinions because opinions, what it is opinions, but our ideals. That's the type of conversation that we should be having in our community right now. Should be somebody that's up there just everybody's believing and all that stuff. No. There should be people voicing their own, ideals to that leader, to that person, and say, what about this? What you're saying is wrong. This is how it should be, without cussing each other out. And I appreciate Mayo for listening to me. And hopefully he's the same way when he's listening to me, as well as Beast, as well as for anybody who's been on this panel. We're going to start talking about more hard-hitting topics on this show. Only thing I could just say is buckle up. But I'm going to tell you where we're not going to be talking majority of this stuff. It's on our watch party. That's on the 26th of March. We haven't picked the movie yet, but we will let you know by the middle of Wednesday. And then also I want to let you know that my boy Rod has postponed. Like I said, money never sleeps. He's going to be coming in on Wednesday to talk about real estate to you, much more about loans on purchasing a home. And also Beast will have his confidant to help you out to get that loan with some good credit. And ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for us here on this great show. Any final thoughts before we head on out, gentlemen?
You got it. You nailed it on the head, man. You good, man. We good.
Yeah, I know. I have my toilet paper and everything. Y'all know y'all just want to steal my thunder. But that's good.
We try to take everything. I see you still trying to find a way to squish some part of the plate in like that.
Look here. Look here. If this was a storm, y'all just gave me the drizzle. Y'all have the freaking rumble, the thunder, the wind, and y'all just gave me the drizzle. Well, but that's all good. At least I can cause a little bit of a flood. But other than that, we will be back here on Monday. Yes. As for my boy, Mayo, my boy, Beast Johnson, and then me as your greatest host, Donnell Monte Morris. Thank y'all for tuning in. Monday, the return of the Queen. The Queen. The Queen to be. Talk about coming to America. What? She will be back here on Teach, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming back to America.
Coming back to America. Teach. I don't know if she's gonna have Hakeem and Simi, but I don't know. But
ain't no telling.
But other than that, she is back, and she'll be back on Monday. Cannot wait. I know she got videos for us. I know she got everything to tell us about her trip to Cameroon. But other than that, we have a trip, and that's to go. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. It's been real.
Much love.
See y'all on Monday.